Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throw Down Your Questions, episode 465, the AMA special. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? Let's get ready to throw some non-gaming questions.
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
Brett Murdoch.
What up, people?
And Brian Manjoma.
He finally did it. He's making a movie.
Oh, I don't know who he is.
Kojima.
Oh, he is. Oh, yeah, you know.
Yeah, Death Stranding.
He's doing what he's always really wanted to do, be in Hollywood, you know?
Exactly. Like, he's finally doing it.
Yep. I heard somebody say something.
Officially, though, it's not him directing the movie. It's him developing the movie with A24.
We'll see.
Hey, by the way, Chris is here, people. Mr. Chris Seeley.
Everyone.
All right. We don't know what's going on with Adam. All right. We got a lot of questions tonight. So we're just going to dive right in. No fluff. Tumeke starts us off. How many countries have each of the crew traveled to, and what was their favorite destination? Carlos, I'm going right to you, man.
Well, here's the thing. It's not as impressive as many people would think it is. What is impressive is how many times I've been to a certain country, but it's not impressive when you know where I live. So I've been to Mexico, I've been to Japan, the United States, obviously, and South Korea. So I've only been to 4. But I've been to Mexico probably over like 200 to 300 times.
Damn. But yeah, El Paso, so you know.
Yeah, it's quite literally a stone throws away from where I live, or from close to where I live. But yeah, I've only been to 4 countries so far. But that's definitely going to change within the next coming years significantly.
Good stuff. Brian, how many countries have you been to?
Oh, it's a good question. 4, I believe. Also, not that impressive. But then again, I really don't like traveling on planes. I just don't trust them. I am well aware that they are extremely safe compared to all other modes of transport. Still don't trust them. You know, if human beings were meant to fly, we'd have wings. Okay. That's my opinion. So, 4. Nothing of exciting. Best place, definitely Qatar for the World Cup. Nothing beats that. It's. I'm gonna tell you the exact same thing I told everyone when I got here. There's a real difference between that country and every single country I've been to. Like, you can tell that they have money. Like, you can see the money in everything. You know. I actually was so surprised that I tried to find one piece of trash in the 2.5 weeks that I was there, and I only found like 1 or 2 pieces of trash on the street.
Shit.
And I was checking everywhere. I mean, I was like looking behind stuff everywhere that you'd expect trash to be. I only found 1 piece of trash.
Damn.
So yeah, it's different, and everything's so clean. It's weird, you know. So yeah.
So Brian, I have a question. I heard that in Qatar, well, you were there during the World Cup, so especially during this time.
Did Carlos cut out for everybody else too, or just me?
No, I hear him.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Okay, there you go.
I hear him.
Okay, cool. So, I'll restart. Brian, so I heard that during the World Cup, the overwhelming majority of people, other than the fans, were South Asian people. Is that what you saw? Like most of the actual Qataris don't really do anything. It's like they're just rich, and most of the people that do the jobs is like immigrants and stuff from other countries.
Mm-hmm. I went there to see my mum. She said it's a lot of people from the Philippines, and I think she said from Pakistan as well. So Yeah, that is what looked like it to me, and judging by the accents and the languages, it seems like it. But yeah, Qatar's a very odd place. It's a place where I think they said it's around 700 or in the hundreds of thousands of native people, but yet it's in the millions of immigrants, and yet it's still very clean and works. Funny how that works. Yeah, it's very odd, and again, most people spoke English, which is great, and they have the same plugs as they do in the UK, which is also very great. Didn't have to buy any adapters, so yeah, it's nice. And the one thing that really freaked me out was just the transport. There's no real like alleyways in there. It's all just kind of weirdly on highways. It's kind of like there's like a compound where there's like a bunch of flats and houses, and then you leave that, and then you're on like a highway, and then that's how you travel to like places. It's like there's just highways to places. It's very strange, but also very cool and extremely hot. Apparently, I was there when it was quote unquote cold, and it's still hotter than the UK. So I don't know.
Yeah. So what other countries have you been to?
Been to Norway, awesome place. Place looks amazing, cold as hell. UK, obvious reasons, and back home. Yeah, that's it.
Where's back home for the people who may not know?
Somewhere in Africa, Zimbabwe.
There you go.
Let's see how many people know where Zimbabwe is. It's always like the first thing I say to people. It's like, yeah, I'm from Zimbabwe, and they're like, where? It's like, border of South Africa. And I'm like, because everyone knows South Africa. I mean, you don't have to explain South Africa.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you do, because every time you say it, you're explaining it.
well, most people know it's South Africa, so it's like Africa, South. So hence, if I say borders South Africa, then they know, okay, it's down there somewhere. It's not wherever, like in Africa.
Yeah, there's a lot of countries. So,
Out of countries.
All right. Brett, how many countries have you been to?
Just this one.
Just America?
Just America.
Just
I haven't had much of an opportunity to leave yet.
Yeah. Chris.
Well, I've been to Jamaica several times, and I've been to Barbados when I was real young.
Very nice.
That's about it.
Yeah. Manny?
Does Hawaii count?
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I was thinking that too. It doesn't.
It's almost it almost was a different country.
Yeah. Manny, how many you been to?
Nah, zero. I mean, the most I could say I've probably been in Canada for a couple of seconds when when the U.S. Airways
counts,
or any
yeah.
other they for a couple of seconds when the plane veers into Canada airspace and then comes back out, just to go up. Yeah, it does that.
I forgot about that. I did go to Montreal for a few days, so that does count.
That does count. Yeah, yeah.
But officially, I've never been to Canada or any other country. I'd like to visit. There's a lot of nice looking places. I know my partner in comics, Kari, has been the world traveler.
Yeah.
At one point during the pandemic, he lived in Germany for like 6 months. So he's like I need a break from this country. So like he just went over there and then hung out there. I mean, again, like doing freelance artwork like we do, like you can be anywhere in the country, and that's part of the reason why a lot of people have been, a lot of people moving down to Mexico, from California and stuff like that, because the cost of living is better. So
we've been trying to build that wall and get you guys to pay for it, but motherfuckers.
Oh well, they are going to pay for it because they're still gonna pay for it. They're just going to pay for it on the opposite side.
Your man did gentrify my country.
Oh yeah, at least those towns, man.
Black Mage, see, we're thinking alike, man. When Brian was saying Zimbabwe, I'm like, is that where Outer Heaven is? So yeah,
that's Zanzibar.
I know, but that's where my mind went. For me, I've been to 3 countries officially. Dominican Republic, that's where I was born. Came here when I was 7. Went back to the Dominican Republic. Then when we were coming back, we had a layover in Puerto Rico, so we were there for 30 minutes. So
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Well, that's the U.S.
Puerto Rico.
yeah, I kind of that's another
It's
country.
not that's
you
not
know?
really another country.
Yeah,
It's
it's
still
not.
the United States.
But yeah, and ever since 1989, I've never left America. So, yeah, like you guys said, Hawaii doesn't count, even though it's like fucking, it's in the middle
It's
of the
a-
Pacific Ocean. You
It's
know,
it's literally a world away. It's that far where it makes it's it could be considered its own country.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. So, but I definitely, I don't even have a passport. But I definitely want to go to London specifically. Like when I get that passport, I want to go to fucking London. London will be dope.
By the way, I will mention real quickly. You Americans are at a disadvantage because this fucking country is so massive. It's like California and New York are completely different places. Like Texas is a completely different place than
See,
Florida
Carlos,
is.
to me, it's funny you mention that because I'm like, Americans are at an advantage because of that. Because we literally don't need to leave the country. We got everything here in one continent,
Yeah, when I say disadvantage, I'm just saying disadvantage in terms of answering, like, oh, like, have you been to other
Oh,
countries?
yeah. Well, that sounds to me like an advantage. Like, fuck do I need to leave for? I got everything here. We got mountains, we got deserts, we got fucking forests, we got everything,
You got Florida, man.
Yeah, we got Florida too. We got it all here. All right, good stuff. Let's move on. Next question here. Villa Kyle. All right. What would you like your legacy to be? For what would you like to be remembered? Ooh, it's a deep one. Fuck.
Oh,
You want to go first, Carlos?
I was about to say, I feel like for you and Manny, I think that would be like a more pertinent question since you guys are more like public figures than we are.
I guess we go first if you want that. But here's the thing. My thing is like it's not even. I mean, it will be public, I guess. I'll go a little bit later. Manny, you go first.
What was the question?
What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, my legacy. I mean, the legacy. To be honest, I'm not worried about a legacy because I don't know. I feel like a lot of the work I do is sort of behind the scenes stuff, so I don't think it'll be a legacy. I think I'm more thinking about the here and now than more about than too much than what spot I'll leave in the future because I don't think I'll be leaving much of a spot in the future. It'll be one name in 1,000. So I'm not really worried too much about that. I mean, I would like it to be something that I had created, but we'll see if that happens. I don't know. So
Yeah. For me, it basically, because I've said this, I don't plan to have any kids, right? But I still want to leave something behind, right? And there's a lot. And I'll just say it now because it's actually kind of tied into. Actually, you know what? I'll answer this with another question that's related to this. So I'll get back to this one because we actually have a question that's like related to 2024 goals, and that's a legacy.
So Tony, does it have to do with money?
No, because I'm already good on that point. By the way, speaking about that, that was my goal for 2023 is like, invest. I already did that. As a matter of fact, my fucking, now I'm blanking on it, but basically, my net worth is literally 10 times more than it was 2 years ago. That's pretty fucking good, But I'll get back to this one later because it's the same answer I would give for the 2024 answer. So I'll go down the line here. Chris, legacy.
Not. All I want to do is make sure that I raise my daughter right, and that she grows up. Maybe she does something important, but for me, I'm good, man. I just want to try to take care of her as best I can. So that'll be my legacy. She's my legacy.
There you go. Brett, legacy.
I'm honestly not concerned about it. Like, that shit's temporary. Like, I have no illusions that, that's gonna last much longer than me. Like, by the time all my tattoos are gone, then so will I. It's fine.
Fair enough. Brian.
I honestly have no idea, if I'm being honest with you guys. I don't know. It's difficult to have a legacy that would stand out in the midst of everything that is going on. It's maybe just legacy of just being a genuine person, I guess. I don't know. Because again, in terms of making anything, well, in terms of discovering stuff, yeah, unless you own a telescope or you dare to go down to the seas, you're not discovering anything really. Or unless you dare to go to the middle of the jungle where no man's land is, yeah, you're not discovering anything. You're not going to make anything because with all the patents and what's left to make, it's very little. There's not many things that have yet to be made that you can make as a normal person. So yeah, I guess it just has to be. I have to be the best version of me I can be. I guess. Sounds like a non-answer to me, but hey, deal with it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Logic Win says you guys are leaving a legacy right now with this podcast. To be honest. And he goes, I don't know if you guys can confirm this, but I think Throwdown might be in the top 5 longest running gaming podcasts. To be honest, I think we might be.
Could we? I don't know.
A lot of gaming podcasts kind of just go away.
They kind of peter out and sort of go to somewhere else.
Think
right?
about it. We have more episodes than the Warzone.
We have more episodes than the Warzone.
By next year, we're going to have more episodes. Actually, no, what am I talking about next year? But right now, we have more episodes than any of the podcasts that Torrance has had under his wing combined. You know,
I mean, here's the thing.
I mean, it's worth looking into. Yeah, because
we have been officially been a podcast longer than 2013, right? The 2013 was
2013 is when we started. Yeah,
2013 was the start.
Actually,
and then
no. 2012 is when we started.
2012 is the start, and then 2013 is the 14 was when Torrance closed the site, and then we renumbered the shows back to 1. Actually, no. So, yeah. Do it 2014 because that was at the end of the war, at the end of the war zone. At the end of the STFU and play. Yeah, and then we renumbered the show back to 1 again.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, first week of September 2014. I got to look into that. I didn't. Here's the thing, and this goes with a lot of what I do. When I do something, I just think about the next thing. I don't really, ironically enough, I don't really think about legacy too much. But Throwdown's been around for over a decade, man, and there's not a lot of gaming podcasts I could say that. So got to give ourselves a pat on the back on that. And we don't miss a fucking episode. We never have missed an episode, man. We keep this shit going.
Even during the certain points, we would still, even if we reschedule it to another day.
Yep.
Going back to OG Throwdown to the one to the end of that season that I hosted. Yeah, we always made sure to do it.
Yeah, we don't miss an episode. We always have 100 episodes every single year. This is why I can confidently say, like, if you go, hey, when's episode number 500 going to happen? First Thursday of September. It's going to happen. We know that. Once you could predict when 1000 is going to show up. That's shout out to us, man. Fuck, throw down, man. I'm going to look into that. That's pretty cool.
Again, we don't. In general, like the show is so like the one thing about it is I think there's a very few amount of the shows that are sort of timeless. That they're very much in the
no gaming podcast is timeless. Every episode's pretty much disposable.
Yeah, unless we did like a classic gaming episode or something like that, or most of it is just sort of disposable.
Here's the thing, though. We've tried some evergreen episodes. Those never take off. No one cares about those. You got to.
Yeah, they sort of don't.
Yeah, but it's all right. That's how it is.
I mean, I think that's the thing. Like, if we had built it from the beginning, that was going to be more of a classic based thing, like a lot of other podcasts that are right. Some of them are right now. I think it would be those would definitely be good. And then there would be like people would be like, hey, why are you talking about that new stuff? Kind of like the old guy kind of like an old guy going to the Iron Maiden show in the back saying, "Play the old shit,
the old stuff." Like that. Yeah. All right, good stuff, man. Next up, another one from Mr. Villa Kyle. This one's interesting. Who are your top 3 most influential people in your life, for better or for worse, and why? Man, some motherfuckers asking some heavy ass questions. You
I
know?
mean, they said we say, hey, we walked into that one.
Yeah,
We
no,
said
I
no
liked it. I
video
like
game
it.
questions.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. Manny, you want to go first?
Yeah. I would have to say my uncle. If Adam was here, he would know. It's our uncle Danny, probably one of the most influential people that in my life because he was pretty. He will tell you if you when you meet him. Like he even said it
Yeah.
when you met him that he taught me how to draw. Like he definitely was like it was like he was very much into comics and illustration and all that sort of stuff, and I sort of was inspired by that, and continued to go forward from where he left off. He stopped off in like art high school. Like when I went to the art and design, I went there because he did. And yeah, so I would say he's probably the most influential person that in my life. I would have to say my mom, just in general, because of just her work, all that she did. Her work ethic. A lot of that exists in me. How hard I work and all the stuff that I do. Having respect for the job and all that sort of stuff, and how to hold yourself and all that sort of stuff. That all comes from her. And let's see who else. Like I guess if we would say, and outside of like art and like a non-related person, I would probably say possibly Guillermo del Toro, just because of where
Interesting.
he came,
Oh, nice.
just because of where he came from. Just the guy, just who had an interest in film, in his, just his little place in. I think he came from Guadalajara, so
Yeah.
like just that, just seeing him sort of like hearing his story, hearing where he grew from, and and just going on to making his, essentially saying fuck you to the Hollywood system, making his own films, and then having those motherfuckers come back and say we need you to do this. That is awesome. So there you
Good
go.
stuff. So yeah, I was thinking about this question because I went to visit my mom today. On the way back, I was thinking about it. Might be a little corny, but I'm strictly keeping it to people I know. Because I with celebrities and stuff, I don't know these people. I can't be inspired by somebody I don't know. I'm like, it's got to be somebody affected me. So the first person I want to thank or give a shout out to is my friend Mike, right? Like because of that dude, like I was always kind of, now I'm not gonna say a shut-in, I was always good to people, but I never really went out, and he was like, yo, Tony, man, let's do stuff, let's hang out, So I've known this guy for 30 years already, best friends and stuff, great guy, and he just taught me a lot about how to be personable and how to talk to other people and shit. Because I wasn't too good with that as a kid. The second person is this guy right here, Manny. You taught me to you always push me when even I doubted myself. This podcast, the journalism thing, none of this would have happened if it wasn't for Manny giving me that push. So thank this guy for having me here. And then the third person, the big guy himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Torrance Davis. If it wasn't for him, again, nobody would know who the fuck I was. If it wasn't for Torrance giving me a shot and just showing me the ropes. And even now, again, with the 3 things these guys have in common is they're all my best friends. I still talk to them all the time. And it continue to inspire me. So thank you, Manny. Thank you, Mike. And thank you to Torrance.
I think I would say the thing about it was I always felt like in general when it comes to you and a lot of other people, I always could see there was potential in you. Like for me, I've always come from a place where a lot of things are very difficult for me. Like just I don't
Yeah.
talk about this, but I have dyslexia and I have all these things. But just seeing how easy certain things like writing came to you, and even you just not even trying that hard. Even when we were kids was like, man, this guy is good. Like I'm like, just keep pushing it. Like Like, that's why I always saw it. So
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, because I actually, yeah, I don't know if I said it, but literally my whole life I thought I was going to be dead by 30. I'm like, fuck, do I need to do anything for? So then when I hit 30, I'm like, fuck, I'm still here. I better do something. So that's where I am right now. So and things are already looking pretty good for 2024 on the career end. So good stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'll go down the line here. Brett, 3 influential people in your life.
Quick and dirty of it would be parents. My made me the man I am today. Rachel, more than probably any other single person, and you, because otherwise I wouldn't fucking be here doing this right now.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, it's all about the people you know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian.
My parents, because they're the ones that instilled my morals and what's right, what's wrong, and how to make sense of the world. My cousin, because my cousin, specifically Nyasha, again, I've never talked to you guys about him because, again, it's more I see him in the real world. I actually used to live with him back before Throwdown started when I was trying to find a job, and he's the one that hooked me up with my first job as a chef. So it's not really that important, it's just kind of the backstory. Yeah, we used to just go out and enjoy life at that age. And we were broke. I mean, we were living on that was like 2012, I think, 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was when Throwdown started. Yeah,
Just before Throwdown started. Oh my gosh, it's back when we used to do Spoilercast.
Yeah, man,
back in those days, and he's one that instilled the idea of just enjoying life at that point in time and doing just enjoying life and doing things like that, because I never did, because I was always very straight edged and doing the right thing. But he's the one that taught me, like, look, sometimes just enjoy life, just fuck it and do it. He instilled the mentality of, if you die tomorrow, then, like, would you be mad? So that also influences what I do on a day-to-day basis. And the third one, I don't know, it's a toss-up between lots of ideas and people, because I know Tony said there's no celebrities, but
except for me, you can get names whatever you want. I'm talking about for myself.
There's a comedian called Charlie Brooker. He's the guy that made Black Mirror back when it was still good. And I think his comedy style has definitely influenced how I do my comedy style in a way where I just make jokes like that. So he's definitely a good influence. And you guys are a nice fourth, don't worry. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Cool. Carlos, 3 people that are influential to your life.
Yeah, this is tricky because kind of like with Brian, I like his last 2 answers, his third and fourth are kind of like, it can be anybody. It can be you guys, it can be my friends, from home, friends from other places. So it's like I feel like I absorb a lot in terms of just personality traits, thoughts of mind, even politics at times. So it's hard to just put it into one person. But the other 2 are definitely my parents. My dad is like old school. Like he was a construction worker most of his life. He had to stop working because he tore, tendons, but he's never stopped working. And he's like, it's crazy. He like 10 years ago, so he's in his 70s now. 10 years ago when he was in his 60s, he did one of the craziest things I've ever seen. He's in his 60s, and there was we were fixing up a fence, and there was like this post, right? That's like, I don't know, 6 feet. And he's like 5'10", and he put his hands on top of the post and literally jumped it. And it's like one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my fucking life. And it's my dad. And it's, sometimes you just never think about stuff like that. It's like he's been really influential. He's really, really strict. So I feel like, there's a lot of good and bad that comes from it, but understanding like where he's coming from makes me appreciate it more. So my dad and my mom, it's she's been like the rock of the family, and she's a very compassionate person. Um, she does things for me and my siblings, and never asks for anything in return. So she for sure, both of them do, but my mom is probably the one that demonstrates unconditional love the most. It's probably one of the most selfless people that I know. And yeah, and just the combination with them, we came, and that's one of the cool things about Throwdown. A lot of us probably went through something similar. A lot of us are first generation, immigrants to this country, and they came when before, like a year or two before I was born. So I was born here in America, and we came from nothing, man. We started from zero. We lived in a trailer, like a small, like those trailers that are from trailer parks.
Yeah.
Inside someone's house, like right next to someone's house. And we went up there from that to where we are right now, and then right now we're in a really comfortable place. So just admire them more than anything.
Cool. All right, Chris, 3 influential people.
All right. Well, I guess my mom for sure, because my mom when I was growing up, she was a hard ass, but
Heh.
that discipline was good, man, because she set me straight. She wanted me to be successful and everything. I'd say my stepdad too. He was great. He was always there for me, and he helped me get up to college and everything. And I have to give a shout out to my buddy Jason, because if it wasn't for him back in junior high and high school, he was the one who got me into computers, because I was pretty much computer illiterate. I just played my Genesis. It was fine. I did not build anything. I didn't know about motherboards or sound cards or anything like that. He was the one who's like opening his shit up. He's like, look at this shit. I'm going to upgrade this. We'll put RAM in here. But and he showed me how to do that stuff. And then I started messing with that. And then it's because of him, when I got to college, I ended up halfway through switching my major. Like, I got out of bio pre-med, and I was like, damn, this, I'm going to do computer science. And so that was, he was pretty influential, because I went from knowing nothing about computers to that being my career, and exploring, learning that in college, getting a degree in it.
All right. I think you still got one more.
Those were the 3: my mom, my stepdad, and
There's 3.
Oh, okay. I missed the stepdad. Okay, cool. All right, good stuff. Let's move on here. Crazy Kaiser. So before his questions, he has a little thing to say here. He goes, I'm a quiet lurker who listens to almost every episode, but I'm rarely into live Twitch. I love what you guys do and enjoy all the different perspectives. Always enjoy the show, and I'm looking forward to listening for another year. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. All right, first question here. This one's kind of fun. He goes, I know what Brett is up to for a living, but what about everybody else? I'm curious. So, yeah, I mean, for some reason, I thought everybody knew what we did for a living. But I guess Brett's the most vocal about it. But yeah, Brett.
Yeah, he talks about it.
Yeah, so Brett, you could go first for those who may not know.
I'm a tattoo artist. I tattoo on people.
There you go. All right, I'll go next. Again, I'm not like, how do you guys not know this? I'm a journalist. I used to be a video game journalist. I am now a tech journalist, although I obviously still dabble in the video games, All right, Manny, you next.
I am a freelance illustrator for the industry. I've worked on like famous franchises like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Venture Brothers. I've worked in comic books like on Spider-Man, and for DC, I worked on Batman. So I'm pretty much all over the place. My byline says I worked on almost everything in the entertainment industry. currently I work in the video game industry, so I'm doing work all over the place. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I forgot to bylines. So I've written for, and I'll just try to go in order here. SCFU and Play was the first website I wrote for Torrance. Dual Shockers, Coalition, and then after that I started freelancing. I making money off this shit. PC Mag, Geek.com, Laptop Mag, and Tom's Guide. And now I have been a full-time writer for Tom's Guide for 2.5 years. So yeah, that's my bylines.
Yo, man, you forgot cool stuff.
Cool stuff. Yeah, that's the blog though. But yeah,
Cool stuff to blog.
the blog baby.
Shout out. I mean, it's still out there. If
It's
you
still
can
out
find
there.
it.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody will, dig it up. Fucking dumpster divers. Oh, 12 years ago, you said video game journalists should finish their games. What changed? 12 fucking years changed, you dumbass.
It's more than feel like it's more than 12 years than on Essence cool
13.
stuff.
13. Yeah. Fucking
Yeah.
idiots, man. Well, you
It-
said
it-
you
it
said this
literally-
13 years ago. Why are you changing your mind? Okay, bro.
But yeah. Like I would say, like it's crazy stuff.
Fucking assholes. Brian, what do you do for a living?
Technically unemployed at the moment, so it doesn't count. But to answer the question, I'm a software developer, primarily focused in iOS applications. So if you have an iPhone, I made apps for it. That is what I do. It's a hell of a job and it's damn fun.
Good stuff. Carlos, what do you do for a living?
I am a software engineer slash developer, or so I develop systems, mostly back end, for a pretty big company that I won't mention.
Chris, what about you?
Also a software engineer. So when I'm employed, not currently, but when I'm usually employed, I develop. I'm usually full stack, so front end, middleware APIs, and back end. And yes, for the byline, I mean, we've mentioned this plenty of times on the show. It's like everybody's like, "Oh, you were so hard on Nintendo." I worked there for 5 years. I've worked for Nintendo, Rockstar Games. I've worked for CBS, several other companies, but those are the major ones. So when people wonder why, why I estimate what Nintendo's doing or try to interpret what they've done, is because I worked in online marketing and communications for them for, a good part of my career. So that's why I do that.
There you go. Yeah, so that's real insight,
Yep.
Manny, what exactly does Adam do for a living?
Adam. Well, he does back end
Networking.
at networking. Yeah, he does a lot of networking and back end. I don't want to go into too much detail as to what exactly where he works. Is just
We don't
just
need
like
to do that.
Carlos,
just what
but
he
yeah.
does. Just what he does. We don't need to
Just
know.
what he
We don't
does,
need to
yeah.
know where.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, but yeah, he does a lot of the back end stuff. Adam has been like ever since I remember. Adam has always been into tech, and even when we were kids, like when we were like doing like when websites when you got the ability to start make websites. We started making websites on like I'm doing the artwork, he's doing the back end part of it. And he sort of just went in and took that to the next direction. He got his networking degrees and all kinds of other great stuff. So he's Mr. Computer Guy, and he's always looking into these sorts of things. Like looking. He's always been like the type to sort of want to figure out how these things sort of work and what these things are. He's into a lot of things. That's what we would say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool stuff. All right. Another one from Crazy Kaiser. What's up?
Side note: Adam is also a musician too, and he has
and
he has an album.
And he's also a gaming. He is a gaming journalist for the Coalition.
And he's a gaming journalist. He currently works for the Coalition.
There you go. All right. So at first, I misinterpreted this question. I thought it was like, what would your last meal be? But no, because we got that question last year. But this one's a little different. I'm going to emphasize the difference here. If you had one last meal to make, what would it be? And then he goes, bonus points for dropping some kind of recipe for a Midwest dude from Iowa to cook up something to impress my family. So this is not what would your last meal be. What would be the last meal you make?
Ooh,
Arroz con pollo.
Oh
café
shit!
con leche.
Very simple stuff, man. Chicken and rice.
Yeah, funny you mention that because
Chicken rice.
Yeah,
Chicken, rice, and beans. Wait.
Yeah.
Chicken, rice, and beans, and plátano. I'll put that in there.
It's hilarious. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with literally the first thing I learned how to make. My mom taught me how to make plátano frito con huevo frito, fried eggs and fried plantains. Ooh, that's a good last meal to eat too, man. You know, it's like let get my belly full of Dominican stuff before they fry me up in the electric chair. For some reason, I associate last meal with the electric chair.
Get it extra.
I mean, it could be the last meal you have before something happens.
Oh shit, yeah.
That you would like to have.
I don't know. Mangoor, let's fucking go, son. I know how to make mangoor, but that's too much fucking work, man. Mashing up the plátanos. I just want to fry them up, man. You know. All right, Brett. What would be the last meal you make?
Garlic butter grilled steaks.
Ooh.
Yeah. So one thing I always like to do is based on what butter is, you're grilling them, and then when I'm done, you season the butter with garlic and brown sugar and a little bit of ground mustard, pepper, salt. And then when you get done with that, you baste them, and then when you get done, you kind of take whatever steak drippings you have along with the butter. We usually make the bacon wrap fillets, so pull the bacon off of it because it's worthless, rubber, nasty bacon anyway. And a small package of feta. So you throw the bacon, the seasoning, the butter, and the feta all in a blender, blend it up, and then fry it until crispy, and then top the steaks with that. It's fucking delicious.
Nice. By the way, real quick, this is from related to the last question we got. Barry Burton says, I worked for Stars. It didn't end well. All right. Brian, what would be the last meal you make?
Before I answer this, Manny, you said chicken. How is the chicken done? Baked, fried, what? Grilled?
Let's see. Depends. Probably be because there's a bunch of different ways on it. Usually, it's on the at least one way my mom used to make it was on the stove in the pot. In other words, you have a little bit of water, a little bit of that, and then you just sort of make it that way. With either the sofrito on it or something like that. It's usually a little bit of boil. It's like slightly boiled that she would do.
Okay. Okay, cool. Now, again, it's chicken. There's like 15 million ways to make it. So hence I was just wondering, okay, so how would you do it?
I mean,
stick them in a stew.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brian, go on.
For me, there's a dish that I like. I don't think it has a name, but I just call it barbecue buns. So basically, the idea is that you create. I think you boil the chicken first, or grill it. Doesn't really matter. But you make your chicken, right? Usually chicken breast or chicken thighs, since they're nice and juicy. Sometimes you can mix them together. You cook them somehow, shred them up, and then you mix them into some sort of sauce. And the sauce, it's not pre-made sauce. It's kind of sauce that you make yourself. So think of like a ragu type sauce. Mm-hmm. I like mine spicy, so I'll throw in like some peri peri or some chilies in there, and then sometimes you can get like a thicker version of a ragu with chicken, right? But here's the fun part: then you put them into buns. So I like to bake and make stuff from scratch. Like I do pretty much homemade pasta every other month. It's fantastic, and then the idea is that you basically just make your bread dough. So whether that's pre-done or whatnot, doesn't really matter. And then you make your buns. You take a scoop. I think it's 1 tablespoon-ish or 1.5 tablespoons of your chicken ragu. Put it in well, you take your bun, you flatten it out, you put your thing inside the bun, you wrap it up, and then you bake it. So that way you get like a baked bun with the chicken and ragu on the inside. That is just one of the best things ever, because then
That shit sounds good.
it's basically a small bun with chicken on the inside, and then of course you can put in whatever veg you want as well if you want that, or whatever meats you want. I've been playing around with that recipe, so I tried chicken, tried beef, tried pork. I tried duck. It didn't really work well with duck. So the reason why I like it is that it's just so versatile. Because again, you can mix up the sauce, mix up the meat inside, throw in veg on the inside. I think the next thing to try next is mince meat to see how that works. So hence you can get like a Jamaican patty in a bun type idea. It's like, hey, you can just do that. So yeah, that would be my last meal. I was tempted to just stay steak and chips, but that's a bit boring.
All right, Carlos, last meal you would make.
So I have a question for the throwdown panel.
Whoa.
Can we go all out? Like, are we limited to the stuff that we normally make it in?
No, I mean, but you have to actually be able to make it. That's the
yeah.
stipulation. Yeah, you actually have to be make. Like, you can't be like, a fucking 50-foot cake or something. Like, you can't bake that shit.
Oh no. So here's the thing. So, and this might surprise you. It's not a Mexican dish.
Yeah.
What would be my last meal? I would make a smoked brisket, Texas
Ooh.
style smoked brisket, and the question was because I would use a whole wagyu brisket, but I mean I don't know how to get that here. So I would do that, a wagyu brisket, smoke it on an offset smoker with post oak. Just use what's it called? Mustard for the binder. Put coarse black pepper, salt, a little bit of what's it called? Ajo. How do you say that in English?
Oh, garlic.
Garlic. Yeah, there we go. Garlic powder, and maybe maybe a little bit of spice, and put that in an offset smoker. Smoke it slow and low and slow for over 12 hours. In between that, make sure to wrap it with some Wagyu beef tallow and wrap it up. Make it finish, and that's it. Beef brisket, man. Cool. I've been making them a couple of times a year, and keep getting better. But it's time consuming. I'll tell you that much.
All right, Chris, what would be the last meal you make?
I guess I would just marinate some filet mignon and grill it on the barbecue with some charcoal.
Oh,
Cut some big old steak fries, grill those up.
Nice.
And yeah,
wait, Chris, you got a barbecue?
yeah, I have a grill.
He's in Texas, man.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. Chris
He's in
don't tell us
Texas,
this.
of course he does. He probably has a whole gun rack too.
Chris don't tell us this. He's not like Mike, where he literally just showed us a big old photo of his grill.
Yeah. No, I have a nice Weber, charcoal grill, and in the summer it's good to use.
Nice.
So yeah, but I would treat myself. Like, I usually don't buy filet, once in a while, But I would treat myself, be like, fuck it, I'll buy a few of those shits, grill them, marinate them, and make sweet marinate them, grill them, cut some big old steak fries. I'll be like, cholesterol out the window since it's my last meal. I'm gonna get fried later, so fuck it. Stuff my face, man.
Nice.
I'm real simple. Steak and potatoes.
There you go, man. All right, next question. Logic Wins, who's joining us in the chat. This first question is very interesting, and I hope we don't get in trouble for this one. And Brett, this one's specifically for you, man. I'm going to just ask the question. In your experience, is the stereotype of women with tattoos being easier accurate? If yes, please tell us about a personal experience that supports your claim. If no, please tell us about a personal experience where you felt you put in too much effort for the buns. Of course, please feel free to fake names when describing the other parties in these stories.
I'm confused by that question.
I mean, like, here's the thing, though. Like, I don't have anything to, like, really put it into context. With like, I've always chased after punk rock and tattooed girls. Like that's all I know.
By the way,
about it.
we're all understanding what easier means, right? I don't want to read the rest of this, but easier. You know, we all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, tattoo. No, tattoo girls don't put out more. That's just a kind of
False stereotype.
Yeah. Okay. So you answered his question. He wants to know if that's accurate or not.
Honestly, no. It's the opposite. It's the Jesus freaks are the real crazy girls.
I'm laughing because yeah, it's true. All right. So there you go. Good enough. Ooh, I thought we were going to get in trouble for that one.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. All right.
We're all professionals here. We don't need to get all,
I'm talking about some motherfuckers will be listening to this, be like,
oh,
we know what kind of world we live in. This next question might be controversial too.
Is that what his deal is? He's trying to get us in trouble questions?
Well, this one, but he's not like fucking Black Metal Gamer where I can't even ask the question. I can at least ask these questions.
Do we have any at Black Metal's unanswerables on here?
No, deleted those. All right. Next question for Mr. Logic Wins. James Bond movie producer Barbara Broccoli has stated that she wants to quote unquote reinvent Bond for the next film. For me, this implies that she wants the next Bond to be a black dude, or that she wants him to have a new origin story. Excluding Idris Elba, what black British actor do you believe would make a decent James Bond? I personally like, and I'm going to completely butcher this, Sope Didisu for the role, as he has the acting chops, screen presence, and athleticism to pull off action sequences. So who do you want? Who would make a good black James Bond?
Who is the dude from? Is it something Ejiofor? Isn't that the dude from Tenet?
Chewel Ejiofor.
Yeah,
he's British.
That guy. I'd get. Is he British?
Don't know.
I can't remember. I thought he had an accent. I could be wrong.
Did we just go like 180 degrees the opposite direction and do like Chris Rock or something?
No.
I'm so fucking sick of this Bond.
It's like that's like saying what's his face who did the Casino Royale is the perfect James Bond.
He is British.
Not Daniel Craig. What's his face? Woody Allen, because he played James Bond once.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wait, Woody Allen?
The first James Bond movie was a spoof.
The first Casino Royale movie.
Casino Royale.
I don't know if it was 63 or 64. It was it wasn't Woody Allen. It was I forgot the actor's name. He played Sir James Bond. I forgot, he was like supposed to be retiring. I think Woody Allen was the villain.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Well, it was before Dr. No, before they took it serious and they got Sean Connery to play him.
That's also not the first time that James Bond was played. There was also a TV play which they changed it to Jimmy Bond. So the first person to play James Bond was actually none of those people. It was like a TV movie that was done earlier than that.
David Niven was Casino Royale. That's right. He played it, but I know what Manny's talking about. There was like a TV thing, and God, I forget. I don't remember. I know of it, but I don't know who played him.
I think they might have done Casino Royale as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Black Mage's answer. Brian should be James Bond.
Funny enough, I was about to say we should go with Gary Swayze.
Hey, there you go. He'd be great. Yeah, let's go with Gary. There you go. All right. Anybody else?
Manny Chiwetel Ejiofor is British, so yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, so boom, yeah. Dude, he's pretty much playing James Bond in that movie, like Tenet. He's just playing like backward forward Tenet. I seriously want to see that movie.
He wasn't in Tenet though, was he?
He wasn't in Tenet, was he?
It was what's his name's son that was in Tenet. My man. Oh, God damn it.
Well, I mean, I'll still go with Ejiofor because he's really good. But yeah,
Yeah, main
Yeah.
dude in Tenet is John David Washington.
Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah,
John
Denzel-
David. Was that?
Denzel's kid. Yeah.
Oh, what? You're hitting me with facts now because I didn't know he was this son.
I didn't know that
Oh
either.
yeah. Yeah,
Damn, all right.
Denzel Washington's kid.
Damn, all right.
It's Hollywood, man. You know.
Yeah, look at that. Yo, man, you can literally have Lenny Kravitz's kid and Denzel Washington's kid show up in the same movie, and you'd be like, these people are great. Who are
And
these
Ice
people?
Cube's kid.
Ice Cube.
Yeah, Ice
kid's
Cube
also
kid, that's
real
right,
good,
yeah.
too. Well, he didn't go into family business. 'Cause
No.
he didn't go. He didn't
He,
become a
well,
rapper.
he went to the family business now because that's what Ice Cube
He went
is,
to
the
the new
actor.
family business.
But really, I mean, Ice Cube is an actor these last couple of decades.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh no, there are whole generations of people that just think that Ice was it Ice Cube Ice Cube Ice Cube has always been an actor. Same thing with The Rock.
Ice T has been a fucking actor too, though.
Just about to say, yeah.
Ice T. Yeah, Ice T's been an actor.
I'ma fuck me up some
probably longer than
caps.
he's been a probably longer than he's been a rapper, right?
Yeah,
For
pretty
both of them.
much. He's been on that SVU show forever, you know. All right, moving on here. Who is this? Eurocar? Who is this guy? I don't know who this is.
Probably got the controversial questions.
You know? All right, first question here. This one's interesting. Does anyone believe in predeterminism? I'm going to go to Carlos for no specific reason. I also want Carlos to explain what predeterminism is.
Well, my answer is I don't know. I can't tell, but I don't. It's just one of those concepts that is pretty interesting. And what predeterminism means is that everything that has ever happened and will happen has already been determined. Like the fact that Manny is looking around, slouching a little bit, turning around into the camera, going like that, that's been determined since the start of time. The fact that I'm asking this question wasn't determined by me. It was predetermined long before I ever even existed.
The reason I ask is because does predeterminism presuppose that there's a intelligence behind this?
No.
No.
It's just, do you believe in free will?
Yeah, because basically my initial answer it was no, because I don't believe in God. But I'm wondering if I'm wrong in thinking that.
Well, look at it this way, Tony. If you could have enough information about all factors, you could, in theory, predict everything down to like every synapse in your brain, and therefore guess what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I would lean more towards the yes. But like Brett mentioned, the crux of the arguments or the conversations that go around with predeterminism is the fact if you believe in free will or not. Because if you think that predeterminism is real, then you don't believe that there's free will.
Yeah, there's a question I've asked myself my entire life. I honestly don't know the answer. I kind of lean towards you don't really have free will. You're always going to be your brain is set up a certain way, and you're always going to follow that logic, right? So I'm kind of leaning more towards that way, but I also don't know, so I can't really answer it. But I do think you know, as humans, we always have a pre-programmed thing we're always going to adhere to, no matter what. Even if we think we're doing something that's in our will, well, it is our will, but it also is just pre-programmed. You know?
Yeah. Well,
For me,
I'll go ahead.
Or if an action if an action happens, there will probably be a pretty predictable reaction, you know. Or you could manipulate. I hate to use that word, but you could manipulate someone into doing something because you know how they're going to act, you know. Or if you hear something, you know how you're going to react no matter what. Anyway, go ahead, Manny.
Well, I mean, I don't believe in predeterminism. You know, I believe in free will, but I do believe that if you believe it, even if you know the patterns of thing, you can get closest to somewhat predicting what something will happen. But life will always throw you a curveball. I will say this to you, and this is might get a little dark. For a long time, my mom had been having health issues ever since we were young, always having health issues, and I would always go over in my head how what will I do, what will happen, based on all the different things that I know, and however many times that I went over all of this didn't happen how I thought it was. So that is why I don't believe in it, because it just all of the information that I had, all the different things that I had, and I still couldn't predict how anything was going to end.
Yeah. That's partly why when I make plans, I call them loose plans. Something's going to change,
Yes.
But the thing is, that change is predictable. That, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's predicted that it's going to change. Something's going to change,
Yes.
And this is why I'm kind of wishy-washy on this. Where I could kind of go either way,
Whenever whenever I've planned anything, it's always been like sort of a loose plan, the ideal outcome, the the middle outcome where I still somewhat get to the thing, and then the bad outcome where everything falls apart and goes wrong. Oftentimes, it usually tends to be the top two, and then obviously then there's the wild card thing, which happens.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Brett, get in here because I'm pretty sure you thought a lot about this throughout your life.
I want to believe in it. I don't think I do, though. For a lot of different reasons. Like, I kind of believe that if you have enough data, then like the same way you can calculate like how a rock will fall or what have you. If you know enough of the air currents and the temperature and the weight, everything. Also, like I've had moments where like on a personal note, like fucking things where you have like a bad dream and you're like, fuck man, I sure hope that doesn't happen. Then you do everything you can to try and make sure that thing doesn't happen, and still fucking does, man. That's about as personal as I'm willing to get with it. But like, yeah, I've tried to move heaven and earth to change shit. Sometimes some things are just bound to happen. There's nothing you can do about it.
Brett, how does that tie into, and forgive me if I'm wrong about this, your belief that we're in a simulation?
I kind of feel like there are certain kind of, for lack of a better term, nexus events that they're part of the program. To try and avoid those would be to try and subvert the program, and that can't happen because we live in a simulation. It's like if you booted up a simulation to see what would happen if you had toast for breakfast this morning, and then you tried to not have toast for breakfast this morning. Like, yeah, no, simulation's not going to deal with that. Toast is going to happen. After that, maybe there's some wiggle room.
Yeah. Another thing, and this may sound stupid because I know it's something, but this is the only way I could call it. Like, every time something really good happens, I always know there's going to be what I call a universal balance, which means something bad also has to happen. Every single time, I know this is anecdotal, every single time something good has happened to me, there's always some shitty that happens right in either the day after or on the exact same day, which kind of balances everything out. It's like, oh, that kind of sucked the joy out of it. But the good thing proportionally outweighs the bad thing. So the bad thing just kind of sours the good thing, but the good thing still happens. But again, it's obviously just random nonsense. But it always seems to work that way. It's like, oh, there it is. Yeah. There's the balance. because in life,
I mean,
you can never, there's never anything that's 100% good. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be a caveat, no matter what, there's always something. But again, I don't know if I'm just focusing on that too much or it's just how it is, but something I've noticed throughout my childhood, like, when something can happen, like, something's bad, there it is,
I mean, yeah, I think I've always noticed some stuff, like just things like that, or just like sometimes, like, there's always the come down. After something good happens, there always tends to be something that bad or negative that happens. But it's part of the reason why I've never really strove for, like people always say, oh, hey, looking for happiness. To be honest, for me, happiness is a high, and so is sadness is a low, and these things don't last very long at all. They last for short periods of time. But contentment, that middle section, that is what I've always been sort of looking for. The comfort, not having to worry that much about certain things. That's what I've always sort of been striving for. I'm not looking to reach the stars. I'm just looking to continue to move forward.
Yeah. I got to read this. Logic Win says, it's very strange that we're having a conversation about simulation theory right now. I was just watching Pleasantville a few months before turning into this podcast. Maybe that was predetermined, sir.
It might have been predetermined. Logic Win.
All right. Anybody else want to jump in on predeterminism? All right. I'll take that as a no. So we'll move on. Another one from Mr. Eurocard9. I have a feeling he's a good guy, man. He has good taste in food. Travels a lot. All right. What are some of your personal goals for 2024? I was already teasing it, so I'm going to do it now, right? There's a lot of journalists out there that always talk about, oh, I'm writing a book. Oh, I'm writing a book, right? And it's usually you have like a metaphoric filing desk of half-finished manuscripts. I'm in a different position. I have I have 4 completed manuscripts, 2 novels and 2 novellas. So in 2024, I'm going to make this shit a reality. Even if I don't get published in 2024, I want to at least make the process going. I want to get some beta readers. I want to get an editor, get a cover, all this shit, because that's the legacy I want to leave behind. Again, I'm not planning to have any kids, but I want something behind that has my name on it. That's me, not to disparage what I do, not some fucking articles about a video game or a MacBook or something that I made, me. So like when I die and shit, there'll be books there like, oh shit, Tony Polanco, man. Even though, yes, I realize that so long as the internet exists, my name will be out there. This podcast will be out there in perpetuity. But I'm talking about like something physical and real. When the fucking EMP hits, you'll have something, So I'll definitely make that a reality. And hopefully, if things pan out, I could do that instead of the journalism stuff. I like the journalism stuff, don't get me wrong, but it would be nice because when I started writing this stuff, I was like, whoa, this is way more satisfying than writing about some fucking, because here's the thing, everything I write, you want to talk about disposable, all that's disposable. It's so disposable that when people ask me, what is the article you're most proud of? I don't fucking know. I don't even know what the hell I've written half the time. People come up to me, oh, I love your review of this, I love your article, that. I'm like, and I go, oh, thank you. And I'm in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't remember writing that shit. It's disposable. I want something real and tangible. And also just something that, because I've been very disappointed in like the media I used to love. None of it really fills me with satisfaction anymore. Movies aren't as good as they used to be. Comic books aren't as good as they used to be. Like anime isn't as good as it used to be for me. So I'm like, I want to create something that when you read it, you'll be like, this is some 80s and 90s shit. I remember this. And I want you to feel like when you're reading an old school Chris Claremont X-Men comic. I want you to feel like when you read Invincible back in the day, like, yes, this is the shit. None of this nonsense that's going on right now. So that's my dream for this year, man. My main goal. And Carlos, you already alluded to the whole investing thing. I'm already set up with that, baby. So I'm good there. That was my goal for 2023. Get my investments right. Everything's right there. So, yeah. So 2024, man. 2024 is going to be a good year for your boy, All right, Manny, what goals do you have for 2024?
More of a smaller thing. To be honest, it's getting myself out of debt. I mean, you know, the hardship of working as a freelancer is a lot of the time you're not going to be able to afford things, and you're going to rack up debt. You're going to rack up taxes. You're going to rack up all this stuff because it's just the way it is. If you're not making a certain amount of money, you're always going to be pouring out more than you're getting in. And you know, me working right now as a full time, you know, person in games, that's all actually allowed me to sort of really starting to clear the dance floor again, kind of like, you know, this is like at least 10 years of working in industry as freelance, just a lot of it, just again pouring more in than I'm getting back. So just sort of really just clearing the dance floor and then looking, you know, looking at what's next. You know, I do have a lot of different ideas and things. I'm not gonna claim that I'm working on them. They're all still waiting in the wings, but I feel like I want to be in a place where I can actually think as opposed to just, just reacting, where there's always something hitting. So yeah, that's about it.
Good
In the
stuff.
future, and what will happen in the future will, come from that.
We said predetermined, though.
I mean, if it was predetermined, I would be like, yes, it's in the future. I'm going to be doing all this, but nothing is certain. You know, tomorrow I could lose my job. Who knows? Doesn't, it never is. It's just about having those, it's always like it always is. It's like, if something comes along, you always have a contingency plan if something does go wrong. What is the Moore's law?
Yeah.
Anything that can go wrong
Or Murphy's Law.
Murphy's
Law.
Murphy's.
Yeah,
Murphy's
now Moore's Law is another
Murphy's
law.
There we go.
You know.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Murphy's Law. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, Brett, plans for 2024?
I don't know, just more of this, man. Nothing in particular that I'm aiming to get done. I don't know, maybe start dating again, but I'm not really super jazzed about that, to be real honest with you.
I don't blame you. I'm staying away from that shit, All right, Brian, plans for 2024?
This is actually a very interesting question because, well, the answer that I have isn't quite satisfactory, and there's a reason why. So I'm kind of in the same idea as Tony is, where you shouldn't just be saying that you're going to do something, you're going to do something, you're going to do something. You should just do it and then reflect afterwards. So in that aspect, I'm going to reflect on what I wanted to do this year and then use that to go into next year. So one of the things I wanted to do this year was to release a few frameworks because I just wanted to do that, just as a tryout. So I did that, I made 2 frameworks. I wanted to do 4, but things happened. Made 2 frameworks, released them now in the wild. So don't know how many people are using them. So that's interesting. And that I didn't say out loud on the show or anything. So next year there's a few other things that I want to do. There's one main thing which we'll see if that even gets off the ground, which is going to be really interesting. Still prepping for that at the moment. But the main idea for next year is just to be financially independent. Because losing my job made me just realize that I'm very reliant on having a job, and I've just been reading more and more about people that have just got sick and tired of working for other people and doing things for other people, and they started doing their own things. So I thought, hey, you know what? Now is a good time as any. I can't seem to get hired for someone else's job, so just start my own job and do it that way. That's how most companies started. I think that there's a bank called Monzo, which is like a digital bank, and they started because there were a few ex-employees of another like well-known bank. So it's like these employees, they got together, they made their own bank with blackjack and hookers. So it's like, hey, why don't I do the same thing? Like I make my own things, So that's the idea. I can't say what exactly yet because obviously that's not how I do things. But when this question pops up next year, I will let you know.
You want to be an
But
entrepreneur, basically.
Why not?
Yeah.
I have
like
skills. There's the space. So why the hell not? And if things fail, well, at least I can say I tried.
Yep. I respect. Carlos, plans for 2024.
So, this year, my plan was one of my main plans was to get out of debt, and I did that. And this year, or
Yeah,
this upcoming
boy.
year, is to save up as much as I can. For what? It's a secret. I'm planning on doing something. I almost kind of did it this year, but decided not to. I won't speak it. I don't know if I've ever talked to you guys about it. I've talked to like a few people, like very few people about this. But
I think you talked about it a little bit.
Motherfuckers buying a Tesla. What you doing, man?
Yeah, it's crazier than that. But yeah, there's something
I know what you're
that
talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's something I want to do eventually, So hopefully, 2024 going to save up a lot of money, and even kind of like what Brian mentioned, something being financially independent. Hopefully I get started on that sometime next year as well. Not completely independent, because that takes time, but going more towards that direction as well.
Nice. Black Mage says he wants to work on getting his pilot's license. That's awesome, man.
Oh, nice.
Hope it works out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Philly Fred says, by the way, shout out to Philly Fred. He says, buy 2 bazookas. You're crazy.
It depends on the state.
Well, he's Philly Fred,
I don't know what the laws here are, but
Yeah. All right, Chris, plans for 2024.
Well, besides getting a new job, I'll probably update my knowledge a little bit. I was thinking like I want to work more with my hands, and then I'm like, well, I live in Texas. What can I do more that's kind of smithy type stuff? And I was like, oh, maybe I should become a gunsmith. I don't know. It was something I was considering, and they have classes over here, so I might do that.
I thought you were going to become a professional barbecue chef.
Right? Nah, there's too much competition, man. There's good fucking barbecue down here. I don't think I can hang with these guys, man.
This fucking serious. New Yorker. He thinks he can beat us.
Yeah, they're just gonna tie a rope around me like Red Dead and drag me. So I won't mess with that. But
Chris wants to be the merchant. Be like, hello, stranger.
Yeah, right. I'll just forge you a weapon right there out of my coat. But I was, it's funny enough, like, around here, like you'd think, like, people love their guns and shooting and whatever. There's not a lot of gunsmiths. There's stores and stuff you can buy stuff, but there's not a lot of guys who deal in actually repairing stuff.
Yeah.
Or there's a few, but very few, and I was kind of shocked by that. And I heard another guy talking about, like, actually in Adam's neck of the woods, how there's a severe lack of people who handle that. So I was like, oh, maybe it's something to get into. I don't know. I'm just kind of tired of programming myself. So I was like, what can I do? That's good. So I might explore taking some classes, see how that goes.
Nice. All right, good stuff, man. Let's move on here. Mr. Alpha Chuck. Right. This one's kind of fun. What is your favorite non-beer alcoholic beverage of choice? So it has to be an alcoholic drink, but not beer.
Dr. Pepper.
No, alcoholic. Alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic?
No, okay.
No, it's alcoholic.
Yeah,
it's alcoholic,
it has
but
to be
not
alcoholic,
beer.
but not beer.
Like if you said like a pina colada or a screwdriver or something like that. A white Russian, something like that.
Yeah.
I say sake. I like my sake is dry, because it's just I've always had funny enough, I've always had issues with a bunch of different types of liquor. Like Beers, I always get stomach problems. Tequila, any of those things. Like anytime anybody's going, if we ever go to drinking, like if we've ever gone drinking, and I do partake in any sort of drink besides sake, I am an utter pain after drinking it. So yeah.
Yeah. Does it have to be just straight drinks? Like it can't be mixed?
Yeah, it could be a mixed drink.
Okay, yeah, because my drink of choice is always Jack and Coke, but I'll drink that Jack straight too,
I thought you were gonna say if you like pina colada.
Nah, I don't fuck with that. The pina colada's all right though. I would say Brugal, but that shit fucks you up too much, I like whiskey. Whiskey's the shit, man. Oh, by the way, Chris, Black Mage says go further south on I-35. There's a lot of gunsmith by his way.
Oh, okay. Like what? Closer to San Antonio?
I guess.
I don't know where he is.
And Philly Fresh says I got my driving license this year. Now I'm saving for EV car, maybe a Tesla. Damn. And Freddie's got money too, man. So
there we go.
I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, congratulations, Freddie, man. You just freed yourself from the bonds of being attached to public transportation.
Yeah.
I need to do that.
Good stuff. Oh, Brett, you don't drink anymore, right? Wait for him to mute himself.
Whiskey sour.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Brian.
Funnily enough, I don't drink beer because I think it tastes like assholes.
How do you know what assholes taste like? Don't answer that.
Yeah, well, how do you know?
I don't. I just think it just tastes really bad, and I don't like it. So my poison of choice, I'd have to go with ciders, particularly one called Recorderlig. It's a Swedish cider. It's really nice and just goes down really well in the summertime. A couple of ice cubes and some fruits and limes and stuff like that. It's nice.
I do like ciders as well. Those don't react too bad with me.
Yeah.
Oh, and just for clarification, the reason why I like it is when you wake up the next morning, your mouth doesn't feel like you've been eating cardboard. Like it still actually tastes nice. Whereas with the beer, your mouth just tastes awful, and I hate that.
Don't judge me. I like margaritas because I like the salt.
That's okay.
Yeah. I was just worried it's not too much of a girly drink, but I like it.
Margarita.
What happened, Brett?
So I'm gonna let it slide this time.
Yeah. Thank you, Brett. See, Brett understands. I'm like, it's kind of a girly drink, But it's not.
What did you say? Long Island Iced Tea is kind of a girly thing.
Yeah, but I kind of like those too.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm comfortable with my sexualities, man. It's all good. As long as it gets you fucked up, right?
I have a question that's related. What's your guys' thoughts on Bloody Marys?
I haven't had enough to make a judgment on it. But actually, wait, hold on. What am I talking about? There was this one party I went to. I drank a bunch of them. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. The Tabasco.
Yeah.
Really? Because I tried it once and I was like, "What is this crap?" And then never again. So
Yeah,
I thought
it's not a favorite. I just kept drinking because they were there. But yeah, whatever. Carlos.
Yeah, I kind of like everything, to be honest. I don't, tequila. I can drink tequila a lot. It's in my DNA. Mezcal as well. Like Tony, my go-to. It's just the default. It's the default setting of drinks. Jack and Coke.
Yeah.
It's like safe drink.
Yep.
And here's the thing. And by the way, I'm not an alcoholic. I just want to let you all know that. I only drink when I hang out with people and stuff like that. But I don't drink by myself.
Yeah, same here.
So here's the thing with Jack and Coke. Jack and Coke is safe. I like it. But when you're drunk, when you're out at a party, when you're out at a bar or something, and you're already really, really messed up, Jack and Coke is just something that's installed into my brain, even during even during the drunkest of times, that I can order pretty confidently. So yeah, Jack and Coke. I even like sake. I've dabbled with, and it's pretty good. Even wine, I'm fine with more red wine than white.
Yeah. If I'm
White
gonna
gotta be
drink wine,
red.
it'll be red for sure.
As well as I like Koreans. They have soju. I like soju. It's like it's not like tequila or anything like that. It's like really, really not as intensive. I think there's like 20% alcohol, I think, in those. So those are pretty easy to drink. They have this drink called makgeolli, which is like it feels like a carbonated rice wine kind of drink. It's pretty good. So yeah, I don't really have that. I don't really choose one over the other. I kind of just like all of it.
Yeah, when it comes to alcohol, with the exception of Sambuca, I don't like Sambuca.
Oh, for the exception of Everclear, by the way,
Yeah.
fuck Everclear.
Yeah, so I don't drink that. But generally, I will drink. I will drink whatever. I like it all.
And I've never had
You also
moonshine,
don't-
so I can't hate on that.
Also, Carlos, you also don't like the band Everclear.
Yeah.
You know what it's like. Blues.
All right, Chris.
I've had a few. I mean, my tastes have changed over the years. If you ask me 20 years ago, I would have said like tequila slammers, 7 and 7. And Long Island iced teas. I love Long Island iced tea. I still do.
Yeah.
But I'm old now, and I like my blackberry sangrias. I enjoy those. They're sweet, and then I get them loaded up. But those are good, man. Go down
Nice.
easy.
Yeah, man.
Chris used to be Mr. Vodka back in the day.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, and if you ask me, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, I would have said screwdrivers, because that's pretty much like I would just drink vodka. So anything with vodka in it, and that was my drink of choice, because it's like, I get some vitamin C. I wasn't getting fucked up, so.
Yeah. By the way, good segue, because this next question is about how we've changed. What's up?
Real quick, just to let Brian know, the reason why I don't mind Bloody Marys is because Mexicans have a million types of cocktails that have tomato juice and hot sauce on it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of used to sort of that taste.
I think I drank the
That's it.
virgin version because mine didn't have hot sauce on it, just the tomato sauce. Is that what it's called, the virgin one? Virgin Bloody Mary? Carlos?
I think if it's virgin, it doesn't have alcohol in it.
No, the one I had it had alcohol, but it didn't have hot sauce.
I don't know what that one's called.
Yeah, maybe somebody knew Tony don't fuck with that shit. All right, so yeah, Alpha Chuck, next question. I'm in the same age bracket as most of the Throwdown crew, i.e. not young. I have the clarity of hindsight and can see how my worldview has progressed from naive and idealistic to slightly cynical. How has your worldview changed from youth to now? Another heavy one, man.
It's funny because I feel like for most of my life I've been pretty cynical.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah,
I know more than I used to, but yeah, my default has always been cynical, and I'm more cynical now for obvious reasons. I would say the change is as I've gotten older to that sort of thought pattern can kind of get old. It can bring you down into pretty messed up places. So I remember Brett not long ago saying he's actively been trying to sort of combat the darkness by actually trying to legitimately going in that being a little bit more optimistic, and that's what I've been sort of doing too. Just sort of not paying, maybe not looking at the cynical side so much of the time, as I would have when I was younger. Yeah, not me, man. I'm all in. My thing is like, I don't know if it's a change worldview, but it's like when I was younger, I used to. Yeah, I guess it's naive. I used to think the people, who we elected, like actually cared. they don't. I used to think people with degrees were smart. No, they're generally really fucking dumb. But yeah, my worldview is just more of what I've always believed, that people are awful and will fuck you over any chance they get. And just living through life, I see it every day. So in that sense, my worldview hasn't changed. I've just learned more. And I don't really see the point of. I commend Manny, you, and Brett for doing that, but I don't see the point of trying to see the good in things.
I mean, here's the thing: like,
everywhere.
I think the one thing about it is it's a cycle. Like it's like having depression or something like that. One thing that that's negative can send you down the spiral, right?
I never really got the spiral. It's all the same.
I'm tired of. Yeah. I feel like, and I think Brett is also feels. I'm tired of looking down the spiral. Yeah. It's just like realizing that there's no bottom to the spiral. Just knowing that I know that the spiral is there, but I don't need to constantly look at it. Right, Brett?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of leaned into concept of absurdism the older I get. Because, I mean, naturally, I tell people, like, I age like a fine wine, getting darker and more bitter with each passing year. But I also kind of, I think, reached that the cul-de-sac of existential crisis and had the choice to, like, either go full-blown nihilist or just absurdist, where, like, how do you even put it? Like, yeah, the universe might be just like a cold creep towards entropy, and nothing you do may matter, but, like, that's why you put on a silly hat, dance around a little bit. Like, the fact that in the absence of any kind of safety or security, you're just like, fuck it, let's throw a party. Like, having that sort of mania is honestly, in my opinion, like the balance against cynicism. Like, yeah, nothing may matter, which is all the more reason to just say fuck it, have a good time.
That's what people used to do during the Black Plague. Like, we're gonna fucking die. Let's just party, So yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Like,
is the thing. It's again. You could sit there and look at this. Look at there's a deep hole, that's the endless deep hole that's just sitting right next to you, and it'll always consistently be there. Or you can just be like, yeah, it's there, but you know what? I'm over here, and I don't need to pay attention to that. And that's social media right there. I don't pay attention to most of that either. Like, just not looking at all the stuff that, I mean, granted, sometimes that shit gets through, but I feel like that's the spiral too. All of that right there, just like all these, like, yes, the world is all fucked up, but I think it's not as fucked up as it as you might perceive it, because you're only seeing it from from the side that everybody is throwing out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's also
once
like,
you get it, go ahead.
It's just like yeah, like, life is terrible, cruel, and meaningless. But have you checked out Chainsaw Man?
Yeah. And then, like, there's also that question. It's like, you have people that go through these horrible tragedies in their life. Like, like, you see all these things happening across the ocean and stuff like that. Horrible tragedies in their lives. Losing all of their families, all this sort of stuff, just because of this, whatever, all that shit that's going on over there. But they continue to exist despite all of that stuff. And they're not sad about it. They're not like, they're continuing to move forward. And I think that's admirable. Where, in other words, yes, the world is falling apart around you, but you still continue to move. You're not thinking about how fucked up my life is or how fucked up the world is.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one, since you guys were talking about that. This is actually something that has actually I really thought about, this actually has deeply changed in me. I used to believe, and this ironic given my fucking profession and literally what we're doing right now, I used to believe that technology was our how humanity would progress and move forward. And lately I've just been thinking, I think we've got it all wrong, man. We might have been better in the fucking savannah. Like, maybe, again, that's just probably part of the cynicism, but I'm like, man, this is all fucked up. you know.
Well,
And
the
Manny,
thing,
I like that you
it's
brought.
all,
I like that you brought up the whole analogy of like the pond, because I was thinking, I'm in that deep in that shit, and it's just like you can't escape it. So just embrace it. It's all just fucked up. But again, it's just weird because my personal life is great, but then I see the world just
Yep.
spinning down around me. I'm like,
But that's-
all right. So my
that's-
whole thing is like,
that's it.
I'll just enjoy it while I can before it all just, you know.
that is exactly the thing I was that why I stopped sort of looking sort of in that direction. It's like, you know, in the whole scheme of things, no matter how much everything seems to be falling apart, I'm still here. Things aren't as bad as
Yeah.
I think. You know, I get granted I'm in debt. All this other stuff happened, but I think about it this way. It's just like, you know what? I'm I'm going to continue to move forward because nothing ever really happens from when you trying to anticipate any of that sort of stuff. We're trying to
Yeah.
concentrating on those things. You thinking about how fucked up the world is, or around past the past your door isn't going to save you if something blows up in front of your head, because anything can happen.
Yeah.
So just might as well continue to exist, get the things that you need to get done done. And it sort of goes back to our previous question, if you think about it.
Yeah. And then the last thing before I know I'm talking too fucking much. I also have realized that the concept I had of happiness is not real. It's an illusion, or not real. It's just not real. And not to get too personal, right? For most of my life, I lived in the projects, right? I finally moved out a year ago. I'm not any happier. It's the same. I'm like, oh, because I figured the more shit you have, the happier you'll be. So I'm like, because I was thinking about it. So when I moved here, I'm like, okay, next step, get a condo. Where I'm like, that's not really going to make me any happier. So now I'm like, okay, just stay here. This is good. Like, I'm content. And I think that's the thing. It's like happiness is not a real thing. Contentment is. Am I content? Absolutely. I don't have to worry. Money, I don't even worry about when I get a fucking check anymore. It doesn't fucking matter. I always know it's going to be there. Work is stable. I know New York's fucking just crumbling with all these fucking bums and all this other shit going on, but generally speaking, I'm not going to just get my throat sliced randomly,
And that is what I was talking about before. I was never, in general, like, I feel like happiness is a fleeting thing. And the more that you try to search for it, the more that you try to essentially replace it with things or excuse it with things, it doesn't, you will never always be happy. So the thing is not to, you will feel happy sometimes. And that's why I've always sort of was like, all right, yeah, I'm good this time. I had a high, and then now I'm back, back to being content and being cool. And that's what I've always at least been searched. So that's what I've always searched for.
Yeah, that's a way of seeing it, because it's like, if your baseline is contentment, that's good. That's very good. Where you're not worried about shit. You go to sleep at night and not worry about anything. You wake up in the morning and the worst thing you got to worry about is like, oh, fuck, I got to wear a coat today. That's how you know things are good, Yeah. I mean, I remember this is a while ago. I had like just a regular doctor's appointment, and then one of these like random orderlies came out, because they got to do this. They just got to ask you about some mental health shit. And they asked me, do you have any stress in your life? Is anything stressing you out? Without thinking about it, I said, Twitter. Right? And I'm like, damn, if that's the only thing that's worrying me, I got a pretty good fucking life. Anyway, go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, this is an interesting question, because at least, for you listening to your guys' story, I think it's inevitable for cynicism to always spring up the older you get, in particular because you just have too many life experiences. You have gaining knowledge, and you're just self-aware way more than you were when you were a kid.
Is cynicism a part of entropy? I think it is. Like,
I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But I will say this, I get older, I have more life experiences, I learn new things, I learn new crafts, I live life, and when I see stuff that's messed up, especially like you mentioned, Tony, the these day and age, like it's a gift and a curse technology, because not only do we have all these cool things like video games and Netflix, quote unquote, in theory, but we also have access to more information than anybody in the history of this planet combined. Before we were born, all the knowledge that they had doesn't compare to the stuff that we get every week.
All right here.
Yep. So I feel like as humans, we're still learning how to deal with that. So that's one thing. But also, I would like to mention that as I get older, there are things that with knowledge that gets better. There's I would like to say it's like more spiritual. There's things that not in a religious sense, but more of learning about the world sense. Like, seeing my, I don't have kids, but seeing my nephews grow up, I practically kind of raised them in a way. Seeing them grow up and become young adults. It's something that fulfills me in a way. Learning about the universe and how it works is a fulfilling thing, and it's not something that I knew as a kid. Learning that we're all just essentially stardust is a friggin' powerful thing that you can learn, and for me, fulfilling a certain knowledge niche, it's fulfilling in a way. But yeah, I think they go hand in hand. I don't feel like I've been overtaken by cynicism, even though there is a lot of cynicism within me. I mean, just talking about games, I'm probably the more cynical out of everyone in here. But
yeah, I think I'm finally there with you though, Carlos. It's finally happened.
You're here, man. Welcome to the club.
Yep.
But as far as life, I think, I feel like I'm more of an optimist. So I would lean more towards the Mannies and the Bretts. But cynicism will always be there, and cynicism will always keep pouring on. But hopefully, it can get balanced out with more, great experiences, a little bit more, find a little bit more spiritual in the things that I do and the things that I see and the things that I learn.
Good stuff. Chris, how has your worldview changed since you were younger?
Well, I would say in terms of kind of spirituality or what the earlier topic of predeterminism, I don't believe that we're everything is laid out for us, but I do think that I never used to think that. I used to think that life was chaos and this like A led to B led to C, whatever you did, it didn't matter. But I think we're guided in certain directions, and we all have some sort of purpose. I don't know if it's divine purpose or whatever, but I do believe that now. I have become more cynical. I think that when I started my journey into technology, there was a noble goal to kind of enhance connectivity and bring everybody together. I think that goal is completely down the drain. I think that most social media is just created to kind of it's not created with any type of good intentions, right?
No.
It's just creating narcissism and dividing people up, and and I think it's engineered that way. And it's not engineered to like inform us or bring people together, get consensus, or bring honest debate or anything. It's just total trash. And now I feel like working in any type of software and technology is no better than working at a bank now. It's just this soulless bullshit where you're just trying to idealize someone else's goal, which is not really to do anything noble, even though every company statement is about something like, oh, change the
full of
world and blah blah
shit.
blah. It's all bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And better
So
humanity and all that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and
yeah, but
yeah.
it's never about that.
No, it's not. And this is why, not to get too crazy, this is why I'm so leery of AI. The technology is not my problem. It's what these soulless companies are going to do with it to fuck a lot of people over. That's, maybe cynicism, but yeah, these, like you said, Chris, these companies don't give a fuck about us, man.
Sure. And they do this stuff. It's like, even though, like Carlos said, we have access to all this information, it's curated, pushed around in such a way that people aren't really accessing it. How do we have all this knowledge available at our fingertips? And this current generation might be the dumbest one yet.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. And so we have a real problem. And then all of a sudden we're having these advancements in AI. It's like, oh, don't worry, this will do it for you. Yeah, but who's controlling that AI? Multi-billion-dollar corporations are controlling it. And then what's it going to do? Well, it's going to eliminate more jobs than it creates. So that's the forthcoming problem that nobody seems to be worried about quite yet.
Yeah, Chris, I want to jump on the whole spirituality thing, because that actually is something that's I've changed with me. Not that I believe in God; that's still the same. I too much of a science-based guy to believe that stuff. But I see what a lack of religion has done to society. People don't have something to look forward to, so they just get more like society just crumbles around you. They latch onto these other things for that same purpose. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to name what these things are, but you know what I mean. A lot of activist stuff. You don't have God, you go to these things instead, you know? So I'm noticing that a lot lately, which surprised me, because I've always been anti-religion my whole life, you know? But now I'm like, fuck, maybe we shouldn't have gotten rid of that, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, look to the Middle East. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not saying religion is perfect, but those guys are also, they also have their conviction. If you know what I mean, Carlos, that's what it says, you know?
Those are the facts.
Those are the facts. So, and I can respect that. As fucked up as it is, I can respect that. When you actually have conviction, like, I'm working towards this goal, that's lost with society now. Anyway.
I just feel like the whole thing, and I kind of agree with something Chris mentioned with social media. Like, social media isn't supposed to be a replacement of real life,
but
like,
it has been for some people. That's the problem.
And it has been for a lot of people.
That's the problem. You know, I agree with that.
And I feel like the closer we get to realizing that as a society, the better we'll be.
I agree. Anti-social media is what it is.
I mean, I think, I mean, it definitely does make people more antisocial. Yep. It does make people more. It gives people makes people not able to communicate with each other. You know, you more and more you see it from a lot of these. You know, a lot of these. If you go to these shows and stuff like that, you see more of the people that go attend these shows are just so, like, they're all socially awkward. They don't know how to talk to people. The only time they ever do talk to people is at these shows, these events, but they don't really talk to anybody regularly. It's usually just through text, to somebody else. I always said, though, that the social media is literally the suppository, not repository, for all the shit, the garbage that's in your own brain, you know?
Yeah.
And you project the forward, the thing that you want to be a perfect, you're not exactly, you don't see yourself as a perfect person, but you essentially post these posts that essentially portray yourself as this one-sided thing. Hey, everything, I'll delete this later, feeling cute, I'll delete this later, because you want to get a reaction from the rest of the public.
Yeah,
from this thing. You want to get that little dopamine hit. And the thing about it is, just like any sort of drug, you need more and more and more of it. And then it becomes, any type of attention from anybody becomes something.
Yeah. All right, Brian, how has your worldview changed since you were young?
All right. Just before I answer this, Manny, a fun fact. Before I removed Twitter from my phone, I think I renamed it to something like Human Toilet or Mind Toilet or something like that.
Yep, that's exactly
that
what it
very
is.
reason.
It's all to be honest, a lot of it is all the garbage that's in your head, that's in people's heads, that ends up on the net. Like, in other words, the things that you wouldn't say to somebody in person. Some of these people wouldn't say in person. None of the people that say that bullshit that they say online, that ever makes it out of their mouth. if they ever meet you somebody in person, if that person they're coming after, Tony's seen it, right?
Yeah.
Those guys like say, "Oh, you're an asshole," and all of a sudden you meet him and meet his person. None of that fucking fire was there, was it?
I could name names,
all
but
in
I'm
your
not
head.
going to. Go ahead.
Anyway,
Brian.
sorry to cut you off like that, Brian.
No, all good. This is fascinating question. Yes, my worldview has changed from youth till now, and you guys can probably guess you guys can have a good guess as to why it's changed. I'm not going to tell you yet because obviously I like these stories. So back when I was younger, I was like, okay, like I think I understand the world. By younger, I mean 20s, early 20s, late teens. So just about the noughties, I guess you want to call it that. So 2008 to 2012, that time frame. I was like, okay, I understand how the world works. Like there's lots of things wrong in the world. The government should be doing more to fix things. Again, I should be able to get this. I should be able to get that. The government should fix this. The government should fix that. Like the government, like needs to put more money and resources here and there and there. And then something happened. And then years later, I was like, the government doesn't work. The government is just ridiculous. And by the government, I don't mean either UK or US. I just mean like the general concept of it, but obviously coming it from a UK point of view. So those people in the UK can probably agree more or relate more to this. So I was like, yeah, the government, like, it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes any sense at all. And the biggest thing that changed that was having a job and realizing that. Because prior to having a job, you just think, okay, the government has money and should put money here and there. But then when you get a job, you realize taxes exist. And then you suddenly just realize just how much taxes exist. Like, when someone told me like they actually like point out a list of everything that I pay taxes on, and then I was like, okay, that is a lot of money being taxed, fine, but as long as it's going to a good cause, everything should be okay.
It isn't.
And that's the kicker. It isn't. It's just seeing just so much money wasted for no reason. Well, I say for no reason. So much money wasted on things that don't make sense and that don't help people. It just infuriates me. Like, one of the things I've always liked the idea of is helping out homeless people. Because, again, homeless people should not exist, in my opinion. Like, we should be able to house people that don't have homes. It should be something that's simple to do. But it's not, and it's not improved and just getting worse. So hence you look into why it's getting worse, and then you see, money coming in, but there's no results coming out. And you're wondering, okay, so what's going on? And then you look into it further, and then you just see all the corruption, all the nonsense involved, and it just makes you wonder, like, what's happening. And then you see this other group of people that are just so adamant that the government should be getting more money. Like, we should be getting taxed more so that the government can do more things because the government's underfunded. I'm like, do you know the numbers? Like, is it actually underfunded, or are you just thinking that because you've been told that? And that's the thing that just irks me. There's this contingent of people that think one way and reality is just another way, and they don't mix, and it's infuriating. Like, I honestly do not believe homelessness should exist. It makes no sense to me that it does exist. And one of the things that solidified it for me was when I was in Qatar. Did not find a single homeless person, and I took public transport, went to lots of places, walked everywhere, no homeless people. Went to the malls, went to again the underground stations. Not one homeless person did I see in my 2.5 weeks there, and it just made me ask the question: how is it that they've solved it, and yet so many other places have not solved it? Like, what are they doing differently? And then that's just one aspect. Again, there's other aspects that I can go into, but we don't have 10 hours to go through this show, so I'll cut it there. But yeah, that was one of the things that made me change my mindset into thinking the government doesn't work. The governments don't have your best interest in heart. Voting is one of those weird things where, and I know people might give me shit for this, but I don't care. I don't think voting works if the people that you vote for don't do the things that they say.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
And
Brian, and I got to jump in with it.
I've held that opinion for a very long time.
Yeah, and Brian, not to cut you off, but I just got to jump on this, right, with the whole taxes thing, right? Most of the time, I was getting money off, freelancing. So I had to pay taxes, so I didn't see what they stole, right? Manny told me, Tony, when you get your first paycheck, you're gonna get pissed off when you see how much money it take from you, right? And yeah, and here's the thing, right? It already annoys me that they're taking down my taxes, but what's really gotten, I'm just gonna say, because I'm gonna announce it in a couple of weeks. I'm getting a promotion, getting a pay raise, and my first thought was, and again, probably because I'm cynical, oh, the government gets to take more taxes from me to fund shit I don't support. Fund shit I vehemently am against. That pisses me the fuck off. That my money is going to shit that I'm 100% against. Fucking wars and all this other nonsense. Giving money to people that don't deserve it. It's aggravating, Anyway, before I go on, it's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit that all this money gets taken away for things I don't even support, that I'm against, Anyway, Brian, go on.
Oh no, I totally agree with you, because at one point I was looking at this one job and I looked at the pay that they were offering, and then I thought, oh, this is really great pay, and then that thought came into my head. But Brian, what about the taxes that you were paying? So I thought, okay, let's have a fun exploration here and look at how much taxes that I would be paying. So my girlfriend and I, we sat down and we calculated how much tax I would be paying, and it turned out, and this is just goes to show you how awful this was. It turns out that I would have been paying more in tax than my girlfriend earns before tax. Jesus. And I was just like, when I found that out, first, it was a mixture of anger and disappointment and just sadness and so many emotions all at the same time. And I was like, do I even want this job, knowing that much of the money is just gone, and I have no choice, just because I get taxed more. And I used to be, again, going back to the worldview thing, I used to be one of those people that the more you earn, the more you should be taxed, because no one needs to earn X amount of money because that's too much money. But now I was in that position where I was earning or getting up to that point, and I was like, why is it fair that I'm getting taxed more for being successful and for doing things in life that, for being successful, I guess. Again, going back to an earlier question, I was one of those kids that just studied like mad in school, tried to get good grades, always ended up around 80, 90% scores. Once again, because I was always told, you must do well in school so you get a good job, and that's what I was doing. So knowing that I was doing well, potentially earning good amount of money, and being taxed this much, I was like, why is that fair? There are other people, and again, I used to have friends in school where their career aspirations was being put on the dole, as we call it here. I guess in the US, I actually don't know what it's called, but unemployment benefits.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what they call it in the US, but basically that was his aspirations.
Wait. His aspirations were to get unemployment checks?
Yes.
Wow.
I used to go to school with someone who thought like that.
Wow.
And it, again, all these things just came back at the same time. It's like, but I'm being taxed this amount of money. It's probably going to go to this guy. Who's
fucking lazy piece of shit. That's who's getting your hard-earned money, Brian.
And then again, we went to school. Again, we went to the same school for years on end, attended most of the same classes, did most of the same work. He didn't do anything. He thought it'd be fun to throw stuff around. We actually got into a fight because he thought it'd be funny to throw paper at me. I don't know why. And we really almost got into a fight. But again, I was brought up, don't fight in school. It's not proper and whatnot. So yeah, it's like all these feelings just came in at the same time. It's like, how is this fair in life? How does this make sense? And hence, why is the government being allowed to do what they do? And all these things just came in all at the same time. And I was like, do I really want to make that much money knowing that I'll be taxed that much?
Yo, Brian, in the UK, so here's interesting, because over here in the US, you have to work for a certain amount of time to get unemployment benefits, and those benefits only last for like, I think, top 6 months. In the UK, you don't even have to have a job to get them, or ever have a job to get them.
I'm not too sure on the exact criteria because I again I've not looked into it, but I would assume that it's just given to you as a basis of just like, hey, you don't work, we'll try to help you. And even then, I'm just like, I don't agree with it. I think it should be based on how much you put into. I think it should be based on how much you put into the system. You know, the more you put into it, then the more you get out. You put nothing in, you get nothing out.
Yeah.
Period.
That sounds like a UBI.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's nice. Giving money to these fucking people who don't even want to work. That's nice.
By the way,
So yeah.
yeah.
Just to wrap up, my worldview has just gone completely the other way from government should have more power, should do more things, to now the government should just not exist. Well, not I won't say not exist, but should be drastically reduced.
Agreed.
Maybe get rid of 50, 60, 70% of it because it's just wasting money on so many things. And the people in power don't care either. And that's one thing I've learned. They don't care about you. They don't really care. All they care about is getting money in and making the backroom deals. I mean, one of the things that I used to hear in terms of arguments was, oh, the Prime Minister should be put on like the average wage of people. So the Prime Minister earned, I think, £80,000. And the average wage in the UK is around £35,000. So everyone's saying, oh yeah, the Prime Minister should be put on like a lesser wage so that he feels or she feels the cost of impact of things and whatnot. And then later I found out that the Prime Minister doesn't really care how much they get paid because for the most part, it's all about the deals they make behind the scenes and the endorsements, the speaking engagements. I mean, Tony Blair is earning like millions of pounds a year for speaking engagements. You know, so it's just so many weird things, and it all seems to be around the government, and less government is better.
Well, here's an interesting thing about, at least for us, like everyone except Brian, like in America, especially back in the 90s and 80s, and like we're taught that America is like amazing, like we're kind of taught of it kind of like a religion in a way. You know, how the US is and stuff. And like, you just notice like growing up, how everything is kind of, you know, there's a lot of fucked up stuff and, you know, the government's not looking out for you, man. Got different interests.
Brett,
I don't trust anyone.
I don't
trust anyone I don't trust anybody who has a name that sounds like a magician. Tony Blair, come on.
Either that or Kimishima. None of them.
Yeah.
That sounds like a magician's name too.
Yeah. Brett, how has your worldview changed?
Did we? I thought I already answered.
Oh yeah, Brett already went.
Oh, you went already? All right. Okay, we'll move on then. Good stuff here. Jolly Yellow,
the deep down, yo.
Yeah. Jolly Yellow Nerd, my man. He's been hanging out in the chat all night. He's giving a lot of good feedback on everything we said. He pretty much generally agrees with me and Brian on this one. You know, motherfucking government taking my money. You know, and by the way, this other point, I was thinking about this today. Right, what's so infuriating is I can't even like elect these people out of office because whoever is going to replace them are going to be just as fucking bad. No one is gonna come in here and clean up these fucking homeless fucking assholes off the street. No one's gonna fix the infrastructure. No one cares, you know. So it's like what's the point? What is the fucking point of voting if we're just gonna get a bunch of fucking idiots anyway? Like this idiot Eric Adams, you know.
Here's the thing about it. It's because they don't need to sit with these issues.
Yeah.
There is no homeless person sitting in front of their house. There is none of this happening in front of on their lawns, and that is why they don't do it. The minute it starts to get in their way, that is when they start to make the decision about making any sort of things, because it's affecting my quality of life, so now I got to do something about it.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Anyway, Jolly Yellow Nerd. First question: are there less heavy stuff here? Are there any specific non-gaming conferences? I'm defining non-gaming as any conference where gaming is not the main focus that any of you plan to attend in 2024. I only ever go to New York Comic Con. I don't go to any gaming conferences unless I'm working it. You know.
I'm leaving the question mark kind of open because usually I apply for New York Comic Con and Anime NYC. But again, my what is it? What's the other thing? It's like the prom. It's just like a prom. You need to be invited.
Okay.
Kind of deal.
Yeah. So
the only difference is I got to pay to be invited once I have been invited.
Don't worry, Barry. I'll see you next year too. You know.
Hey Barry, you got any ins on getting Artist Alley tables?
You know. Mr. Jolly Yellow, the boycott is a running joke between us. Don't worry about it. Because Barry Burns says hashtag boycott NYCC. It's a running joke.
Here's the thing. Like as many times as as Barry, if we won't ever say what his real name is, but anytime we've ever met with him, he's always like, this is going to be my last one, and then we see him the next year and the following year. After he said that, every single year, I'm never coming back. Yeah, he's just like what is it? He's like Corleone from The Godfather 3.
Al Pacino.
I tried to get out, but they keep on calling me back in.
I got to give him a shout out, man, because I went to Comic Con this year. I forgot my fucking badge, but he gave me his, so I was able to go to the show. So I got 2 badges. Anyway, is anybody going to go to any non-gaming conventions in 2024? Is that really a thing we do around here in Throwdown?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, so. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I just say I don't think so.
Yeah. All right, we could probably move on from that. Another one from Mr. Jolly Yellow Nerd. This one's fun. Where is the best place to get a cheeseburger in your city?
Ooh. A cheeseburger. Kind of depends on the place, what you like. I don't know.
I don't live there anymore, but I really like Cheeseburger, in Forest Hills.
Yeah, Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger,
yeah, there's like two. There's like 2 of them. There's like one in for some reason there's one in Queens and there's one all the way in Vegas. I don't know why.
It's interesting.
Oh yeah, and there's also a couple out in Philly. It's like a little bit. It's a smaller chain, but they were good. I
like Cheeseburger. Yeah, it's like a 50s style diner type of thing. Good burgers, great fries, lots of Pepsi. I like Cheeseburger. That's my favorite spot, even though it's not in my area technically anymore.
I mean, I would say Cheeseburger too. I mean,
I
wish I still had. I mean, I had it as close as I did back in living on Queens.
Yeah, but, I mean that was our spot. You and Chris and Kristen and Jossie would always go there.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Anybody want to jump in? Favorite cheeseburger joint?
Yeah, I'll go.
One quick thing before you say, I would say Grub Burger was a really good place around here, but it's a chain.
Yeah. All right, Carlos, go ahead.
There's a place. It's not. I mean, it's in the same city, but it's not near me. But it's called the Hoppy Monk, which is a place where it's mostly a bar, but they have food as well. They have they sell really good food, but their burgers are probably the best part, the best things they sell. So yeah, I'll go with that. They have different types of burgers. They have some with eggs, some with I think there's one with like a peach sauce or something. I think it's called Fox Blue Burger or something like that. Yeah, anything you get, it's a hit.
Manny, Bear Burger. That was good. Remember Bear Burger?
Yeah, Bear Burger's also a chain, but yeah, that's a good one
that's
as
a
well.
good one, yeah.
That one you can find that one in most cities. I mean, well, no, fuck all of that. Shit. The one in the park. It's recently became a chain, or well, not recently.
What, Shake Shack?
Shake Shack?
Shake Shack
is some
that
good
one used to
stuff.
that yeah. Shake Shack.
Five Guys, you know.
Five Guys is a good one, but that's also a chain too.
Yeah, it's
but
a chain,
I mean, years ago, I would say Shake Shack when there was only one Shake Shack in New York City, which was in the park next to in the Flatiron building.
I mean, if we're gonna not go with chains, I've only been there a couple of times because it's really. Actually, you and Chris may have gone there. I like Bayside Diner right by the LIE. That's a good one. That's a good spot.
Yeah, Bayside was good.
Yeah, that was good.
They had good food there.
Yeah, man.
And they stayed open late.
They did, man.
Back in the days when we used to stay up till the crack of nowhere. Still do, but
yeah, man.
But,
Chris, favorite burger? What do you like in Texas? What's a good burger joint?
There's a local chain around here called Hop Dotty that has good burgers. I like their stuff. Oh, you'll be happy to know we're getting a Shake Shack. I saw them building it out like a couple of miles away. I had to stop. I was like, "Yo, what the fuck is a Shake Shack?" In my town, Cedar Park,
nice.
So we're getting a Shake Shack. Now there used to be, and I was a little sad because I think because of Rona they shut down. There was a Five Guys,
motherfuckers,
a stone's throw away from me, and I used to love.
Chris,
I didn't miss out on Five Guys. They shut it down.
Apparently, Chris, a lot of Five Guys are closing down. I didn't see the video, but I saw like a video, the thumbnail. It said why Five Guys is failing or something like that. I saw this this week too.
Oh damn! I gotta go. I better start eating more than
Yeah, right. I didn't know that. I thought it was just over here.
What the fuck?
Let me see if I can find the video. But
don't take my motherfucking Five Guys, man. I'll cut a bitch. You know. All right, Brett. What's a good burger joint by where you live?
There's a place called Westport Flea Market that is generally regarded to have the best burgers in the city. There's also a place called Lou's over here. Has something called the Mac Daddy, which is a cheeseburger with bacon, Gouda, and fried mac and cheese. It is so fun.
And Brett, since you live in Kansas, I also would have accepted my place. You know, you make the best burgers.
That is a fair point as well. But if you got to go get somebody else to make a burger for you, there's some pretty good ones around here.
Cool. Brian, what's going on with you're like near London, right? So so what's some good spots there?
There's a few good spots, but my go-to is Byron Burger.
What's it called?
I just think Byron.
Byron, okay.
Like Lord Byron.
Okay, Byron.
Ah, of course, Americans.
Byron.
Byron, sorry.
Byron!
Yeah, remember that guy from, what was he, in Florida or Philly? What was that guy? Who's the president? Byron!
Byron!
Yeah. I think they do some pretty cool burgers and some milkshakes to boot. We do have Five Guys here, which is all right.
Is it Five Chaps over there?
Five Guys. I think they do like the best greasy burgers I've had in a long time. So good. Yeah.
Five Fellows.
5 blokes.
5 blokes. There you go.
Yo, Chris. I got a question.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Austin has an In-N-Out, right?
There's In-N-Out, but In-N-Out is like a West Coast chain. Now I have one near me too.
Overrated.
I don't go there. Their fries are tiny and weak, like California.
Their fries, their fries are no joke trash. Like they're horrible. No, but the reason why I mention it, Chris, is because you live in the Goldilocks zone. you're gonna have a Shake Shack, Five Guys, In-N-Out, Whataburger. Like you have everything.
Damn.
Yeah, there's Whataburger over here too, and I go there on occasion. But yeah, now that Shake Shack's there, it's actually closer to me than Whataburger. I'm like, let go there. Now Five
Later,
Guys
Jay
is far
Chef.
from me.
Good night,
but it's
man.
good
Merry
stuff.
Christmas,
But I
Happy
mean,
New Year, all that good stuff.
Whataburger is a Texas staple.
It is, yeah. In-N-Out, no, I don't care for
Whataburger's cool.
In-N-Out. It is here, but I don't go into In-N-Out Burger.
And,
We have all those things now.
Yeah, in and out, man. I remember these motherfuckers, man. First time I was going to E3, like, yo, we gotta go to In and Out, man. In and Out, In and Out. We go there. I'm like, it's all right. And every time I go to LA, I always go to In and Out because I'm like, this is gonna be the time. It's finally gonna click. It's finally gonna click. Gotta finally click. I got nothing against it, but nah, man, nah.
Yeah,
You know what's great?
Yo,
Going to
you had
get
the
chicken and
animal style
waffles.
though.
That was great.
Roscoe's chicken and waffles.
that's
Just
right.
fucking go.
Shit to do.
In-N-Out is not even the best like fast food burger. Like in that same way, like Wahlburgers is better than that, and Fuddruckers. Like you can go to Fuddruckers and get like a bison burger or some shit like that.
That's why I like the Bear Burger. That was the first time I had a bison burger. That shit was good. You know,
you could get a bison burger, a boar burger, or
Psycho
a
Kudasha
Bear Burger. Yeah, you can get all three of those types at Bear Burger. We're not sponsored by Bear Burger.
Well, I wish I was. You know. All right, man. Moving on. Black. Yeah. What's up? Oh, man, he cut off.
I mean, you know what? Out of sponsors that I would wish we would have food sponsorship. Free food.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah! I'll show the shit out of Bear Burger.
Today I'll love me some winning out, man. today I'm sorry.
Sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. Yeah.
Oh, have you tried animal style?
One thing you don't need to worry about, because have you ever looked at the budget of your food budget, just in general? Have you looked at your food budget? It's a lot of fucking money. Imagine if you didn't need to pay for that. Someone else was paying for your food.
In my defense, so the reason my food budget is out of control is because I'm out of control. I just order out too much, you know.
It's easy to fall into that pit, right?
Yeah, especially when you could just afford it. I'm like, okay, I got all my savings, I got all my investments, I got money. Why not? But it's not a good thing to do, you know.
No, it's not. There's self-control involved.
Yeah. All right, next up, Black Mage, man. He actually has a question here about For All Mankind, but Adam isn't here, and I haven't seen the new season yet, so can I talk about that right now? So we'll move on to...
You mean Nier Automata? I can tell you about that, because that's
For
All Mankind is the thing that they say in Nier Automata. For All Mankind.
No, this is about the TV show. All right, so his other question is, 80s babies, how's y'all health? Physical and mental. Yeah, he goes. So this is a question. How's your health? Are we still being good little Hulksters or what? What are we doing to take better care of ourselves now that we are getting up there in mileage? Any advice for the younger listeners?
First of all, unfortunately, Hulk Hogan did not take his vitamins and say his prayers. He was mostly taking steroids.
Oh, shit.
Side note, I mean, to be honest, for me, it's just being a little bit more wary as to what I've been eating. I mean, I've always been a fairly, somewhat not thin guy, but always in the thinner range, or like not as super hefty. But right now, it's easy to get fat. So just being more wary about what I'm eating, putting into my body. My girlfriend for years has been into like more organic foods, so we always try to go with more organic. It's a little bit more expensive, obviously, than buying stuff from a normal place, but they're not using pesticides and all kinds of other funky stuff. Using stuff that's unhealthy, like chemicals and stuff on you, despite what the FDA says. So just eating, but trying to eat overall better. Also the other thing, in general, like, if you're a young person doing a lot of, we're doing a lot of this, we're doing a lot of sitting these days. Get outside, take a walk, Also, don't, if you do a job, if you're working a job, like even full time or whatever, take your full lunchtime. Don't be a warrior and work through your lunchtime. Just, go outside, take that mental break, because it can all that shit can easily come come up on you as you get older, and and again, like, don't be afraid to and this is general stuff. Don't be afraid to take your time. Don't be afraid to take your lunch time, your vacation time, all that stuff, because again, all that shit can catch up with you later.
Yeah. Anybody else have any advice, health advice, physical
Yeah.
and mental?
Manny just brought up the health stuff, but I will say, if you can, and if you live in a place that allows it, buy a treadmill or something, and like, just or if you live in a place that is suitable for it, like, learn how to like run, do cardio, take time off your day to do that. You don't have to weight train, but you can do to help you as well. But even just getting into the rhythm of running every day or every other day or a couple of times a week, just to get started, like, that'll carry through for the rest of your life, and it helps a lot. So I will say that mental health, stay off Twitter.
Okay. Carlos, would you recommend a standing
But
desk?
I would say for most social media, I mean, here's the thing. Remember, the one thing to remember about social media, it is just a one-sided lie. Or half truth that everybody that everybody tells. You're not going to put all of your business online. You're going to just put like choice cuts. And a lot of times, this has also been a study where people who are like very much active on places like Facebook ended up getting into deep depressions, because they look at all they see is everybody on there essentially look like they're having these wonderful times. They're always happy. They have lovely kids, but yet you find out later on their lives are all in chaos, and all that shit that they were just posting was just the one-sided. It was just the mask that everybody was putting on. So I'd say, yeah, just if you do have a social media thing, try not to spend too much time on it. Get out and see the world.
And that's actually really important. Like, you learn this as you get older, but a lot of the things that people show on social media, like Manny mentioned, their cars, their vacation trips, their kids or whatever, they're just as miserable as you and I are. And everyone has problems. Everyone is going through shit, So don't think that, like, it's only you going through stuff, because everyone goes through shit.
Going
No
back
matter
to
how wealthy.
yeah, going back to the cynicism thing. A lot of times when I see this stuff on social media, especially like they're on vacation, they got something expensive. I just wonder, how much debt did you put yourself in to get that?
But that's the thing. That's the thing. You don't see the journey upward, and that's also where a lot of that jealousy comes with certain people who who've worked their asses off to get to certain positions. I've heard some people just said, like, why do they hate me and all this other stuff. It's because they don't see what you did to get there. They just see that you just popped up out of nowhere, and a bunch of companies are giving you a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
They didn't see you standing in the street outside of E3 doing interviews, and doing your own little podcast. They didn't see any of that stuff that you got to that got you to that point. Nobody ever does.
Yep.
Only you know that for the most part.
Yeah. By the way, I really can't talk about health right now, because ever since I've been working here, my health has just been fucked up. At least it's not my health, my eating habits, right? So I'm like, because I got to work weird hours sometimes. I got a fully stocked kitchen. Sometimes we just have random parties. Oh, we got pizza now, or we're going drinking. The only thing that's prevented me from getting fatter is because I get a lot of exercise, but I'm going to try to make a more concerted effort, because, like, for example, before I started working, at where I work now, I hadn't drank soda really regularly in years, maybe once in a while. I drink soda every fucking day because it's in the kitchen, it's free, but that's not good, and then, I get, it's a mental thing too, because when I'm home, I don't eat until it's like 12 o'clock. I drink a bunch of water. I'm fine. At work, I'm always fucking eating. The kitchen's right there. They got a bunch of snacks. So it's something I got to break out of. But thankfully, I hasn't fucked me because again, since I'm so active, because I got to go like a little bit further to the train station. That's at least kept me like from going or whatever, But it's not good because I'm thinking about like this. Like I'm finally at a point in my life where I'm like investing money. I'm my fucking net, income is like good and everything. I'm like, Tony, maybe you want to actually be healthy to enjoy this shit for another 40 years. Because like on my mom's side and my dad's side, nobody really lives past 80, right? So that's probably my life expectancy. That means I got about 34, 36 years, right? I should probably be a little healthier so I can enjoy those 34 some odd years, or maybe live longer,
Why not more?
Yeah, so that. And then with the mental health stuff, stay off of Twitter. Twitter's fucking trash. Find good. And by the way, I'm being a fucking hypocrite right now saying this shit. Find a good work-life balance, right? Don't come home and keep doing more work because you know it's gonna like help you out or whatever. You need to set a stop. Like don't know more, And like Manny said, go take your lunch break. Don't do what I always do is I bring lunch and I eat at my desk and keep working and don't stop.
That's for me when I was doing full-time work. Well, what I do, I'd go. Again, that's part of the ambition part of things too. I would go home and I work, double time. I work at home, work on for whatever other things that I was going to do. Obviously, you want to make time for those things. If you have an ambition, if you want to get to those, get those, essentially get yourself out there. If you're doing more different things, or get extra things, but also don't do it at the expense of your personal time. Remember, you are not your job. That the job. As soon as the door closes, if you're doing freelance in your little of your home office, as soon as this door closes and you go out of that space, this is your time. Don't let your work and your life overlap.
Yeah,
have those boundaries. And this is from experience, Mr. Workaholic right here.
Yeah. Mr. Jolly Yellow said this, and I agree. I was bad with this too. If your company offers you PTO, take it. Take your days off.
That shit.
Take your vacations, man. Last year, I took 1 week off. You know why I took it off? Because I had to move. I didn't take a single day off last year. I didn't. I think it was like one time or whatever. Because Mike's dad passed away. But this year. I took 3 weeks off and a couple scattered days because there are certain points where I have to work over the weekend, but I'll just make up for it. But yeah, take your days off for sure, especially if you're in a fucking union and you get unlimited PTO. Take that shit, All right, anybody else?
Can I mention?
By the way, Carlos, real quick, standing desks. What's your opinion on those?
Oh yeah, those are good. It's that circulation, man. If you're sitting down for that long time, it fucks up a lot of blood clots, man. That is dangerous stuff, man.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Also hernias can happen because of sitting too much as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Carlos.
Real quick, mention shout out to Black Mage. Put something in the chat. He said mental health is no joke. I was going through some rough depression this year, so I took some time for myself, disconnected, and got myself a therapist. It took some time and there were some rough spots, but I'm back and enjoying life. I also found an awesome job that I can live comfortably and support my children. That's good, man.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up.
Yeah, good stuff.
Respect to you, man. I'm glad you did that.
There's nothing worse than that. There's nothing worse than that feeling of feeling trapped in your life or the job or the thing, or where it doesn't feel like there's anything beyond it.
I was thinking about this, Manny. You know how they say, and you kind of said it too. It's like your work isn't your life or whatever, but it kind of is too. For us, and Brett too. It's like our career defines us.
Yes. The thing about it is that even so, still finding that divide. You still have that divide with your personal writing projects. In other words, it's granted, yes, it's still at the same desk. It may not be on the same computer, but the
Yeah.
thing about it is it's still like they're still having that divide of those things. Going, again, like
I was
for
more
me,
thinking
I
of
would
like
just go into
that's
one to
yeah,
the
but
other.
I was thinking more of like that saying you are not your job. I actually kind of am. I'm a writer. Like I can't like that's it.
Well, no,
And,
man. I
that's
mean,
what
like
that's what I
you're,
identify as
but
too.
your spare time isn't writing reviews.
No, it's not. It's writing other shit.
That's that is specifically your job. You write reviews, you write impressions, you do things like that. But that's
Yeah.
not your job. The job, I mean, that's not you.
But it also
like for
but it
me,
also is. I am a journalist,
it
so
also
that
sort of is.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was it's something I've
But
just been
like,
thinking about.
but it's also like if like as an artist, there's also a general difference. Like especially like for Brett's thing is a very is also people are coming to Brett for what Brett does. So it's a little blurred for him. But the thing is, when Brett goes home, for the most part, Brett, well, granted, you might be taking the work home, right?
Oh, I'm always taking work home.
It's always taking the work home. Take a
Yeah,
break, damn it.
there are no hours on hours. Like tattooing is kind of a lifestyle. It's just kind of one of those things you accept. So
Yeah, Brett, what's your take on this, man? On the
go
whole
ahead.
health and mental health stuff.
Find things that you're passionate about. Find a purpose. A purpose helps keep driving us. Don't forget to stand the stretch, flex. Be careful just staying in one place for too long. Yeah, other than that, I'm a big believer of like there's a reason why when guys retire they seem to fall apart. Like you gotta have that thing driving you. So I think the purpose is super important. Other than that, like I said, it's just
Yeah.
stretch and enjoy your life, man. Also, don't overlook the benefits of therapy.
Yeah. Brett, there's something you said that I want to touch on too. This is going to sound really weird, right? When I realized I don't have to retire, that made me feel really happy, man. Because I again, like you said, I've known a lot of people who retire and are just like miserable because they don't have any like purpose. But I'm like, yo, I'm a writer. I could literally do this until the day I die. That made me feel so good. I don't have to just stop doing this shit, Like I'll slow down,
Well,
obviously, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to keep doing my passion. I want to keep doing that until I can't anymore.
But if you ever look at the people that mostly retire, right? They are usually
Physical
doing a
labor
job
dudes,
that's different.
yeah.
They're usually physical labor, or their job is actually not the job that they're doing is not related to the things that they do in their personal life, right?
Yeah.
Hayao Miyazaki will always draw, even when he gets old. He may not be making a film, but will always be creating. He will always be doing that. And that's the same for any of those guys the artists that have supposedly retired. They've sort of just they could have reverted back to essentially what their art originally became, what it was what they were originally doing it for, was just for amusing themselves. And I feel like that's usually what it ends up becoming. They never stop. They just don't do it for somebody else anymore.
Yeah, because the reason I started thinking about this is because I'm finally have enough money to invest, and in my head I'm like, oh fuck, I can only invest for like 25 years before I got to retire. It's like you don't have to retire. What the fuck do you have to retire for? So that's a good feeling. I'm like I could just keep writing, and I could just imagine because I obviously keep getting better as a writer every day. I could imagine 20 years from now and shit, man. I mean, think about it. George R. R. Martin, that motherfucker's like 78. He's that good now because he had decades of working on his shit. He just
has bad motivational issues.
But think about it. The guy was basically
behind the desk.
But think about it like this: the guy was basically a mediocre, unknown writer until those books hit. He was sludging for like you said before, Manny. People don't see the struggle. That guy was for 30 years writing. Nobody knew who the fuck he was. And then suddenly he hit a book. Bam.
I mean, again, like I spoke about this before when it comes to the lightning that strikes, like, there are people that have obviously been doing this stuff longer that never hit it.
Yeah.
He just found that thing that hit with people. But yeah, I mean, again, like I feel like when you do art for a living, you really, or like not art for a living, but art in general, you don't
Creative
really
stuff,
retire from
yeah.
doing art. It just sort of becomes more for you than it becomes for everybody else. And I think when you get older, I think that's one thing that becomes more attractive. Why am I giving all of my time away to somebody else?
Yeah. Barry Burton goes, Tony's tired of waiting for a new Game of Thrones book. He can write it his own. I'm not that good. Not enough to write that. Chris, any advice for the youngins about health and mental health and all that?
Well, my wife started baking her own bread,
Ooh.
and that's something Torrance talked about too,
Nice.
and I agreed with
Yeah.
him. So we bake our own bread.
Chris, can I just stop you there? What type of bread?
Well, we just bake regular like loaves of white bread. I buy
Okay.
this special flour, this King Arthur flour, this bread flour. Their bread flour is pretty good. It doesn't have a lot of crap in it, so we just do that. I mean, I haven't experimented with like sourdough or anything like that.
Yeah, that's when things get really fun. We start doing like sourdoughs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to try that. But yeah, that's one thing to do. It's like so much store bread. Like forget it. It's full of crap. If you just look at the ingredients, you'll just get sick. So it's better to get a bread maker and and like Brian said, start experimenting. But whatever you like, try to make your own. And it's only like a few ingredients. Like you go store bread, it's like there's 40 ingredients in there. It's like why they put in all these preservatives to keep it on the shelf, but you don't need all that
Yeah.
stuff. It makes you sick. I cut back on soda. I haven't eliminated it from my life, but I drink way less.
Not as much of the oil.
No, not nearly as much. I try not to keep it around, so
Yeah.
I'm not tempted to drink it. And sometimes I meditate. I listen to some tones. There's some free stuff on YouTube that I listen to relax, and it helps me. So that's what I recommend. I mean, I take vitamins and all that stuff, but I always did. And just try to keep abreast of your biometrics. Make sure your blood pressure is good as anything. Just make sure you get your cholesterol and everything checked. Every so often. Make sure you're doing good.
All right. Brian, what about you?
Mostly what you guys have said, so there's not really much to add. I do 120% agree with the whole taking work home. It's not a good idea. I used to do that like crazy in my mid-20s. I used to like do the usual 9 till 5 and then take it home and work on it until 8, 9, 10, and then like maybe watch something and then sleep. That's not how life should be. It's
Yeah.
gosh, like looking back at it, I just think you were such an idiot. Why did you do it? But then at the same time, I look back and I say to myself, I was doing it because I enjoyed it. Which,
Yeah.
in that aspect, I guess it's quote unquote okay because I was having fun. But if I would change things, I'd say don't do it for other people, do it for yourself instead. The benefits by now would have kicked in. So, yeah, if you do plan on taking work home, do work for yourself, not for someone else. That's probably like the best thing I can give you.
The danger of that, the danger of doing that, it becomes expectation, right? The
Oh, yeah.
job starts to believe that is the way things go. Oh, hey, Bob, I'll just take it home and they'll finish it off in a night. And blah, blah, blah. Like no. Don't even set that bar. Don't
Yeah.
even give them the inkling of that bar. So if you're gonna do the job as best as you can. But as soon as the time comes along, close that door, walk away.
Yeah, they will see that because if you say, "Oh yeah, this thing will take me 5 days to do," and then you do it in 3 days because you took it home, then they'll see that as like the standards. Oh, that's what they can do in 3 days. So that's their level, So let's keep them on that level until I don't know the end. But then again, you just burn out, and that's never good.
Yeah, burnout's never
and
good.
Yeah, and in terms of health, mostly 100% agree with what Carlos has said. Definitely take care of that. To kind of add to what Chris said, my my way of just zoning out and meditating, I guess, is a mix of gardening. I'd, I do want to start growing like fruit and I say fruit and veg mostly because you can't grow fruit in the UK because there's no sunlight. Growing veg, I think that should be fun. Already experimented with a few things. I have a few things in mind next year to grow tomatoes, maybe potatoes, chilies, that type of stuff. And also cooking. It's just a really nice way to relieve stress, and it's quite fun. And I don't talk about like heat up a meal or something. I mean like properly like cook. I mean I do my own pasta, and like once you do your own pasta, it's just like a world of difference. Like Chris, you know how you are with bread? It's the same thing with me and pasta. Like I've done it once. Well, I say I've done it once. I did it once. And ever since then, it's just been like any recipe that needs tagliatelle or something. It's like, nah, I'll make my own. Like the hell with buying it from a shop, you know. So yeah, it's and again, it's so simple. It's eggs, flour, and olive oil. I guess if you want to call it that, and that's it, and that's pasta. You know, it's brilliant. And then same thing with baking. It's so much fun. I haven't tried baking bread yet, but I've done stuff that involved bread adjacent items, like the buns I talked about. And also, I do lots of pizza. Oh my gosh, doing your own pizza is like the best thing ever, you know, because I just get sick and tired. And Tony and Manny, I'm sorry, but my girlfriend likes it off Domino's because they just never put in the.
Oh.
I know. It's her thing, you know, sometimes she's not feeling well, she just likes a good Domino's, so I go with
Good
it. You know?
Domino's? That's an oxymoron, sir.
It's good in the British sense. So she
Yeah, if that's all you could get, right? Shit.
yeah, it's like a British it's a colloquialism. It's not good as in objectively good, it's just that's preferred taste at that point, which
Yeah.
again, fine, whatever. But yeah, nothing compares to homemade pizza because again, with stuff like Domino's, she always complaining saying, "Oh, they don't add enough ingredients and the range is limited." Whereas if you make your own, you can throw in whatever you want on that stuff. You know, whatever cheeses you want or whatever meats you want. Like hell, you can have like the whole thing just be pure meat and no one will stop you. You know. Yeah, it's just so much better. And then, of course, you can customize your size, customize the sauce. I mean, put whatever nonsense you want on it. I'm tempted to call it the pineapple pizza people, you know, but I'm not going to. You know, that's your thing, Tony. so yeah, you can just do so much fun with pizza, and that's why I like to just bake stuff. And often I just be listening to podcasts. And that's actually what I did this year when I was not on the podcast. I actually used to listen to the reruns while cooking pizzas and stuff.
Yeah, fuck pineapple
Nice.
pizza,
Yo,
man.
yo, Brian. I'll mention as someone that likes to cook at times. When you when you cook something and it's like something good, like let's say for example, it's a chicken recipe or something, and then you just think about one ingredient. You're like, what if I add these type of peppers here, or what if I add this type of seasoning here? And it's like oh, like the what is it? The combinations or the combinations are endless in this thing, and it's like it kind of excites you, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So those are all the questions that we got for this show, but there's actually 3 questions that we got like throughout the year that were just random, not for the main show. So we'll answer them now so we could clear the board for next year. So these are the leftover questions. Jay Shep, what are your thoughts on James Gunn's vision for the DC universe?
The vision.
He obviously asked this when it happened, when it was announced.
Oh, huh. I mean, it's a lot of it is sort of Usual Suspect sort of thing. Like he's literally kind of starting from scratch.
Kind
You know,
of,
he's like,
but it's
okay,
like, 'cause
yeah, like
apparently the first one was the Blue Beetle movie. Apparently,
Well,
yeah. Apparently, they're going to keep
that was left over from the.
yeah, that was left
that
over.
was
But he
left over
also
from the previous.
claimed it as part of his universe now.
Well,
Yeah, I don't think. To be honest, I think I suspect he's going to be reconsidering that one because that one like crashed so hard.
Crash, yeah.
I think what's going to happen is that some of the if there is any sort of leftovers from the other verse, they're just, at least what he sort of said. He says they're going to be standalone DC films, like films that are not really connected to his DC universe. So let's say Aquaman, because Aquaman's coming out soon.
Yeah,
apparently,
it's coming out in like a week. That's gonna bomb.
let's say Aquaman 2 does well, which I don't believe it will.
It's already tracking to do really, really badly.
I'll just say this: when I saw a trailer for that for a film when I went to see a film this weekend, I literally chuckled. I'm like, "Oh, that's still a thing," just like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that, let's say for the sake of conversation, that movie does do really well, like the previous one did, they'll probably keep that one around. That's what he said. We'll keep certain films around and keep them disconnected from our main universe. I mean, to be honest, it seems fine. Like, I guess recast Superman because you don't want to have any of that stuff. Even though I think Cavill was a good one.
Yeah,
but he's probably too old now. I think he's about our age now, right? Like,
yeah, he's in his early 40s.
Yeah, so
he's our age now. He's always been our age.
yeah, well, it's weird. It's weird to say. Like,
yeah, I know.
The heroes in film, like, you always thought, when you're younger, always the superheroes and guys were always older than you.
Yeah,
right. Like Christopher Reeve was older than us. Michael Keaton was definitely older than us. Like, they were always in their like 30s, their mid 30s. Batman was always in his mid 30s, right? He was always 35.
Yeah,
right?
Actually, he was always 29, 35. Yeah, around that age.
29, 35 in that age range. So yeah.
Actually, Henry Cavill's younger than us.
How old is he? 39?
He's 40.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's in a range, I guess.
He's younger than us, yeah. So, yeah.
But anyway, I look at it this way. It remains to be seen. Like, I do like the general, all of what James Gunn has put out, I've liked. When it comes to Guardians of the Galaxy, the second Suicide Squad movie, his early endeavors like Slither, I think.
Manny, did you see the third one? Third Guardians?
What? Yeah, I liked it.
It's really good, huh? I thought I was kind of surprised. Like,
it felt weird. It felt weird. I was like, oh wow, this is genuinely a good film in this phase, garbage pile. In this phase.
Yeah. My thing is, I'll wait to see. I'm so burned out on superhero movies. They've just been trash lately. I'm kind of done. I'm kind of done, to be honest.
That's the thing. That may be even the harder one with James Gunn. To be honest, I feel like with James, he needs to start small again. Like, bring it back to one hero film, and don't be like, oh, there's going to be another. Don't even do that. Yeah. Just close out your film. And if it is what it is, then if it's a one-off, it's a one-off.
Yeah.
Yo, man, the Suicide Squad.
What?
Yeah, like the Suicide Squad, like his last few movies have been pretty good. So hopefully, it depends on what he's gonna direct because he's overseen everything. He needs to get good directors and good and if they're gonna do freaking stories by a committee like Marvel does, and it's like, oh, it has to tie up all in with this broader universe, and like that's what's gonna be the downfall of it. Just the last Batman movie was really good. It was a standalone movie. They weren't worried about tying shit up. It just existed, and the Joker movie was good too. So just get people like directors who are passionate about stories.
It doesn't need to be a connected universe. It doesn't need to be. You don't need to be going down the line of this stuff where everything is connected. Even when they started introducing that idea in Iron Man, it really wasn't like that much of a thing. They still were making single movies. movies that still introduced characters and had their own plots and didn't start injecting themselves into this greater universe of characters
Yeah.
and continuity.
Yeah. Brett, what are your thoughts? I know you're a big James Gunn guy.
So I'm picking up here. Maybe as long as he keeps up what he was doing with Peace Walker or Peacemaker, like I'm 100% all about it. Like I feel like that bit of irreverence is more served in the DC universe. I mean, Guardians was good, but like I think Marvel kind of just tried to take that magic and keeping it through imitation, and it I think all of their movies, all of their shows, all of their everything suffered as a result. So I'm good. Just give him the whole goddamn franchise. He'll decide when and where is appropriate to do James Gunnery, and move forward from there. I'm a big fan of his, so I'm okay with it.
All right. Chris, James Gunn.
Oh, while I think he is talented and he's proven himself, with Guardians and like Manny mentioned before that with Slither and Super and all that stuff, I have a big problem with the superhero movies coming out lately. They have been total trash, right?
Absolute
And
trash.
and the problem is the brands are damaged, right? They're so damaged at this point that he's not coming from a place of like, oh, we're just coming off of a phase 4, or for DC. I mean, at least if you're like, oh, we just had Justice League. No, it's just been one failure after another. I think the last decent DC movie was the Batman.
Yeah.
And everything else is a flop. Aquaman 2 is testing horribly. So and the Flash was terrible. So you have all these like failures, and then people are just sick of this shit. So they're walking away from superhero movies, and all the suits see is like, oh, people have superhero fatigue. No, they have trash fatigue.
Yeah.
They're tired of fucking trash. So he's got to now work his way up from that depth, and even I think even if he produces like whatever the Authority or whatever the first movie is he's gonna do. First of all, they're very obscure, but I said that about Guardians. I didn't think he could pull that off, and he did. So he might pull that off, but it's like, who's left to pay attention, right? It's who's left to think that, who's not like DC is tainted, Marvel's complete trash. So people have walked away from these films. And I think so. He has a big uphill battle. I think and then the measure of success, right? All the suits are looking for is like your movies in the billions, right? 1 billion, 2 billion worldwide or whatever. I don't think you'll hit that anymore. Just not enough people care. So that's where I think he's working off of. And even if he makes a decent movie or a good movie, I don't think it's going to pay off in the box office because too many people have walked away from the brand being damaged.
I agree. Like I said, I'm not coming back. I'm done.
Yeah.
I will say this just real quick on Aquaman and the Blue Beetle. No matter what they say, I still wouldn't judge James Gunn because on those projects because those were developed.
No, I'm not judging
No.
him on that. I'm just saying those movies continue to damage the DC brand.
Don't forget about Shazam. That bombed too this year.
Yeah, they've all been failures. So, and the same thing on the Marvel end too.
Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, garbage.
Trash.
The Marvels, garbage. Secret Invasion, trash. Like all this shit. Loki season 2, trash. All of it is trash. So people are tired of it. They just don't want. So even if he made a good movie, even if people said, "Oh my God, the Authority is fucking amazing," they'll be like, "Yeah, I watched The Flash. That was trash, and I love Michael Keaton. I remember '89 Batman." And I went and watched that shit, and it's garbage. So they're not gonna
You remember Barry?
put faith in anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I mean, if it's a good move, if it's a good movies that they're making, they end up making, and I guess they make enough money to make more, then I think that's I mean, for me at least, that's satisfactory. We'll see about because big blockbuster $1 billion movies, you have to earn those fucking $1 billion these days, because they usually, back then, they would get every other fucking MCU movie would make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Now it's that's just not the case.
Brian, thoughts?
I'm with the idea that, again, I'm kind of with Chris with just I just don't know. I'm willing to give it a fair shot, but I don't have much faith in it. I'm not saying that he's a bad director or anything, or his oversight's bad. I just don't believe that he'll be given what he needs to make it good, and that's why I don't think that it'll be good in any way, shape, or form. And if rumors are true that Ezra Miller is staying on and Gal Gadot is staying on, it's kind of like, these are what made the Snyder films less than good in many ways. So you got rid of the stuff that people liked and you're keeping stuff that people didn't like. So it's not off to a good start. But again, it could be that it's actually going to be quite good. But then again, as you guys have said, even if it is something that's quite good and is really well made, it's still the stink of everything else that came beforehand, and that'll be for the general public. They'll see, oh, I went to go see Aquaman 2, The Flash, and Black Adam. They weren't that good. Why should I see this next one in DC world? So that's also like the other angle. But again, we'll see when it comes out, and hopefully it's good, but I don't believe so.
Yeah, that's generally how I see it. But I'm more pessimistic. I'm just not going to watch any. I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done, man.
Go see Godzilla instead.
Go see Godzilla. Movie's fantastic. All right, Kiss Shack. How many of you guys are the tech support guy in the family? And every time something breaks that involves technology, you're the one everyone goes to. I think that's all of us, right?
100% me.
Yeah, I think that's all of us.
That's all of us.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right.
I was literally doing tech support with my aunt. She's asking me if a Chromebook was good, and I'm like, kind of depends on what you you want to use it for, because there's obviously the issue, there's the things like most of that stuff is all online. So if you don't have an internet connection, you can't access your files. It's all in the cloud. So
I wouldn't recommend.
Depends on how you want to use it.
I wouldn't recommend a Chromebook.
Yeah, I would not. Yeah.
No, I did. I mean, his thing, she's doesn't have a lot of money, so that's why she's looking into a Chromebook, because it's only like a $200-$300 investment. Yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah. All right, and the last question of the night from Illustrated Dio, our boy. This is an interesting question. This is probably one of the most unique questions we've gotten.
Whoa.
Okay. To each of the panelists, with the exception of Manny and Brett, if you could ask Brett or Manny to create pieces of their respective art, what would it be? In my case, I'd ask Brett for a tattoo of Necro shoulders, a lion signifying my birth month, or a cool Rastafarian quote. For Manny, I'd ask for a Frank Yeager with the platinum hair and red bandana before becoming Cyborg Ninja.
So you mean what's his face? Null from Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing. I understand where he's coming with the question, because to him, you guys are, for the lack of a better word, gods. Like you're art gods, and he wants to be like an artist himself. He's doing his thing. But I'm like, to me, you're just my friends. I don't really go like, oh, I want your art, So no, I'm good. Like I got a bunch of Manny art. I'm good. I got Brett art. I'm good. So I don't know if anybody wants to commission these guys.
But you need a Brett tattoo, man.
Yeah, right.
No, for real.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I mean
yeah.
I feel like it's a good question.
It is a good
'cause,
question. It's just very, probably our most unique question we ever gotten. I think.
Yeah. I mean, with Brett, like I told Brett, if I ever get a tattoo, he'll be the person I'll go to. I don't know if I'll get a tattoo, but I'll stick with someone I know.
There you go.
Keep it in the family, yo.
Yeah, and I think I'm just thinking about what I would be passionate. Maybe like a Aztec calendar or something like that, or the Mayan calendar or something.
Ooh, there you go.
I know.
Doing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just got it. And it goes without saying. What next tattoo I get, it'll be Brett for sure. I want Manny to do one of my variant covers for one of my books. Because that's something I realized.
There we go.
Like you notice how with novels they release different covers over the course of time. But I'm like, hey, has anybody released like 5 different covers at launch, like a comic book?
I was thinking about that when you were answering. You're like, I'm not gonna, like you weren't answering the question. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're gonna use Manny for future endeavors. With art.
Yeah, because I don't want to I don't want to tie Manny up with like concept art and stuff. But yeah, I think I want a variant cover. I think that'd be cool.
I mean, I could also do the first cover.
You could, yeah, you could, yeah. Because obviously,
that's if the publisher doesn't use some bullshit Photoshop shit that they've been using for fucking book covers.
Well, this is why I want to be an independent publisher. I'm not going to traditional route. I'm doing that all myself. So Manny, you could do the first cover for the eventual graphic novel because I want to turn that novel into a graphic novel. That'll be good. The reason I want to do a novel first is because if I do it as a graphic novel first, then whoever helps me, it'll be like I have to create this with somebody else. I want to just be me and be like, hey, adapt this, even though it'll be me writing it, But yeah, Manny, I'm going to hire you to do one of the covers, probably the main cover for the graphic novel, Are we going to get it GDC graded? I know you hate that shit.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I mean, unless you really want to get the little nine it was you can't even it was like a 9.5%.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. All right, man. We're done. Last episode of the year, man. Do you guys want to give any? You know what? I'll go down the line. Let's give our shout outs, man. Manny, anything you want to say to the fans?
Again, thank you for being with us for these many years of Throwdown. Earlier in the show we talked about how we essentially had that revelation. We've been around for over 10 years. So thanks a lot for coming along with us for this ride. And obviously, just like always, where you'll find us on Tuesdays and Sundays doing our thing.
Thursdays and Sundays
and Thursdays sometimes.
Excuse me. Thursdays and Tuesdays. Look at me getting old.
Yeah, because our first throwdowns were on Tuesdays. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to be on Tuesdays. Thanks again, guys, and hope to see you next year. And there's gonna be some fun, some very cool things that are going to be happening. Where a lot of the things, obviously Tony and I we still want to do those interview sessions with the folks that we have have a few more of those episodes, obviously, and the eventual reconnection of our YouTube and our Twitch fan base, where now we can essentially put both of them on at the same time and get both of everybody at this going live.
That'll be the first episode. Yeah, that'll be the first episode back. We're gonna be everywhere. This will be good. All right, Brett, anything you want to say to fans before we wrap up? I'll wait for him to mute himself.
There we go.
Yeah.
Just appreciate you guys. I know we're all, especially me, curmudgeonly, angry, cynical, bitchy comic nerds or video game nerds, but we appreciate all y'all.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, just more of the same. Thank you to you guys. You guys watch the stuff, so yeah, we do it because we like doing it, and you guys like hearing about it, so we'll continue on doing it. So thank you to you guys. You guys are the reasons why we do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Carlos.
Yeah, shout out to everyone in the chat, everyone that's been talking to us throughout the whole 3.11 hours.
Crazy.
This is longer than a Scorsese film. We always appreciate you guys, the interactions, and also especially on the Discord, man.
Yep.
You guys always keep it alive and bumping, and always appreciate seeing the discourse. And by the way, it's the internet, it's Discord. Anyone can join it, and somehow it's been so civil throughout this whole time. So that's Tony mentioned earlier that he's lost faith in humanity. You guys help bring that back up, man. So shout out to you guys. Next year, Tony mentioned it in a previous episode. There might be more avenues to which ways we go live to. So stay tuned.
Good stuff. Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just repeat the message of we appreciate you guys and thank you for listening and everything. And hopefully in 2024 we're talking more about video games and less about bullshit mergers or corporate trials or anything like that. Like we're actually talking about fucking video games and not burning our time on bullshit. So let's I'm very hopeful for that, and we're playing more stuff and enjoying ourselves in the new year.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I'm pretty much going to echo what everybody said. Shout out to you guys listening to us, who've been listening to us. Not only like the old school guys, but like the newer cats. Like, appreciate you. We do this for you. And yeah, the Discord crew keeping it down. That's where we get all of our stories from you guys. So appreciate that support. And yeah, Throwdown will expand a little bit. I'm glad Twitch has finally loosened some of the rules so we can start streaming on other places again. I think it's going to be good, man. 2024, and we're also going to be celebrating episode 500 of each show. That is going to be crazy, So stay, yeah, man. And hopefully more giveaways. We'll be doing some more of that. More Throwdown, man. It's going to be good, So yeah, that's it, man. I don't know if you guys want to say anything. I think we're pretty much done.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas,
all that good stuff.
Happy New Year, all that stuff, man. Hope you guys have a great Happy Hanukkah, all of that.
Yeah, I
Happy
think
Kwanzaa.
Yeah, Kwanzaa. Oh man,
whatever you celebrate, Tammuz Day.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back by Orthodox Christmas, so we'll celebrate that then.
Happy Festivus.
Well, we will also be back before Three Kings Day. Well, I think we will. I don't know. We'll be there, and that's the same day as Orthodox Christmas. That's
shit.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back with a new episode, Throwdown, episode 466, the first Thursday of January. Ironically enough, I don't think I'll be on that episode because I'll be in Vegas. So Manny's probably gonna host that, So yeah, but stay tuned for that. Should be fun stuff. Throwdown. We don't stop, man. We keep it going.
Can't stop.
Won't stop. All right, man. So we're done here. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. Yeah, like Carlos said, it's crazy that it's been civil. It's amazingly enough, Although sometimes, Frankie B might get a little snippy. Shout out to Frankie B, man. Shout
out to Frankie.
We're on every podcast app on the planet. Throwdown Show. That's towards Throwdown Show. ThrowdownShow.com to listen to past episodes. And if you have been watching us on YouTube and like the videos, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live, and maybe when we go live in general, people, on YouTube. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time, or maybe next year.
Yes, Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Brett Murdoch. He's still muted.
Peace.
Hey. And Brian Manjoma.
See you next year, people.
Right, people, you already know, man. We'll be back in 2024. Later.
Deuces.
Deuces.
Laters.
And shout out to Fergus Mills.